Earl Campbell says he wants to leave Houston after being taken out in last week's embarrassing loss to Cincinnati. And that statement has been the big story in the Houston area all week long. This has been a miserable year for the Oilers, whose record is now 0-10. And in his 5th game as interim head coach, Chuck Studley is still trying to come up with a plan to break the Oilers' long losing streak. But thanks to the return of a healthy Billy Sims, the Lions have a streak of their own, winning 4 of their last 5 games. And despite rumors of him jumping to the USFL, Sims now finds himself as more of a vocal team leader. On defense, the Lions have the 2 best quarterback sackers in the NFC, All-Pro Doug English and defensive end William Gay. Today, it's the Oilers and Lions from the Astrodome. John Dockery, and there is a great deal of confusion in this part of the country, John, because fans and players alike still can't figure out why, with a great deal of talent, Houston has a record of 0-10.
Houston is better than they've played, and to prove that, they've lost 3 games in overtime. They lost to Pittsburgh by a mere touchdown, but their role now is strictly that of a spoiler.
And while the Oilers are going home at the end of the season, the Detroit Lions hopes their year will continue, because with a victory today, they could be tied for first place in the division.
And you know what's interesting? They've been doing that without a big year from Billy Sims. He has yet to get 100 yards, but I expect a big one today because Houston is the worst defense against the run in the NFL. And if Detroit does win and Green Bay beats Minnesota, we'll have a 3-way tie in the NFC Central. So it's Detroit thinking playoffs, Jim, and Houston looking for its first victory.
Well, there's one good omen already for Houston Oilers fans. The Oilers have won the toss and decided to receive. Michael Black kicking off for the Detroit Lions. As we mentioned, the Lions still looking for a playoff spot in the NFC Central Division. The Oilers just looking for a win, period. And our ball game is underway. A squib kick right down the middle. Picked up in return to about the 28-yard line by Bob Rubick. And you know, John, it's kind of a strange thing that's going on right now because Oliver Luck is replacing Gifford Nielsen, and he's a starting quarterback. He's getting his first start in the NFL, and you just know that he has to have a few goosebumps on him right now.
There you see the starting lineup. Yes, Oliver Luck last week, his first NFL pass was intercepted, but then he did rebound. He threw for over 225 yards and a touchdown, and there you see the offensive line.
All right, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 28-yard line. Oliver Luck, the starting quarterback. Earl Campbell starting this afternoon. Luck back to pass. Throws to his left, complete to Mike Renfro.
And Jim, many people thought that the Houston Oilers would run the ball. You saw they were in a one-back offense with Earl Campbell, but in order to build the confidence of Oliver Luck, he wants to throw short passes, complete them, and build that confidence. You'll see a lot of screens today, a lot of short passing. We'll also see Earl Campbell running the ball from the one-back offense.
Bruce McNorton coming in and making the tackle then. There's a look at the Lions defense. English and Gay, the 2 big men up front, they're all pros. Cobb, Fantetti, and Williams, the linebackers. Watkins, McNorton, Hall, and Graham, the people in the secondary. 2nd down. Flag on the play. A little bit of confusion on the part of both teams. Doug English, it looked like, jumped offsides just a little bit there for the Detroit Lions. Bob Frederick, the referee for today's game, and as you saw, the signal offside against Detroit.
Doug English is always intense, always active. There he comes from the right side of your screen. He's on Luck before he ever gets a chance, but he was offside, jumped the gun.
Number 78 on the defense, offside, 1st down.
1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 40-yard line. Ball game just getting underway here in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. The Oilers going against the Detroit Lions. Oliver Luck getting his first start in the NFL. 2nd-year man from West Virginia. Luck hands off to Earl Campbell, coming to the right side. And coming up making the tackle is number 33, William Graham, the fine safety. And it's kind of a strange thing about Graham. He has 72 tackles, 72 solo tackles already.
Well, it's the guys, they play a 4-3 defense, and they rely on the linebackers and the strong safety to fill those holes. That time Graham came up quickly to knock Earl Campbell off his feet.
And it was a loss of about 2 yards. Yard and a half, actually. So let's call it 2nd and 11 from the Oiler 39-yard line. Campbell still the lone setback as the Oilers are going with 3 wide receivers. Luck back to pass, rolling to his left, pulls up, feels a little pressure, throwing back to Campbell, who drops the ball. Earl Campbell, who last week said that he thought that he should be traded. He wanted to get out of Houston after he was benched or taken out of the game. And the embarrassing loss to the Cincinnati Bengals has had a great deal of pressure on him this week, I would believe.
An awful lot of pressure, and his posture in practice was one of almost a beaten man, a depressed running back.
So Campbell goes out, and Donnie Kraft comes in. 3rd down and 11 from the 39-yard line. The Oilers now have 2 backs in the backfield, and now they go to the shotgun. Luck all by himself. Bill Gay jumps off sides but gets back. However, the flags go down. Pass across the middle, and it is complete. Timmy Smith, number 83, the leading receiver for the Houston Oilers, makes the catch. Bruce McNorton, number 29, brought him down. Here's a signal from Bob Frederick. Offsides again.
And you can see, excuse me, Jim, you can see the Detroit Lions are really eager. What they're worried about today is a letdown against a team that hasn't won in 17 outings. 0-10, of course. Houston this year, they lost 7 in a row last year. Listen for the call.
Defense, number 79, offside. 3rd down.
On the other side of that coin, Jim, though, I can't emphasize how important this first drive is for Houston. They have that losing mentality, a losing mindset. They must establish something early, or else it could be a long afternoon for them.
And so it's been a couple of offside penalties by the Detroit Lions. It's kept them into it. Luck back in shotgun position. 3rd down, back to pass. Pumps once, pumps twice, throws down the middle of the field, complete to Mike Renfro. Renfro brought down by William Graham. And there's big Doug France, number 77, getting into it with McNorton and Alvin Hall. Good for 13 yards. And, you know, you get the feeling, as you talked about just a little while ago, John, that the Oilers know that this first drive is very important to them.
So important. I mean, they're 0-10. They're looking for the light of day. It's so miserable when you're losing in pro football. Nothing goes right for you. I think Chuck Studley said it very well yesterday. Everyone knows who the best team in the NFL is, the Dallas Cowboys, Washington Redskins. They also know who the worst team in the NFL is, the Houston Oilers. That's motivation enough.
Sure is. Campbell is back in the game now. He's a solo back. 1st and 10 now for the Oilers. Luck pitches back to Campbell, coming to the near sideline. Earl going upfield, picking up a couple of yards. Brought down by Gary Cobb, number 53, the left outside linebacker, and Ken Fantetti.
You know, Jim, you mentioned before about Earl Campbell being angry and unhappy. He said, and I quote after the game, "They treated me like a dog last week." He was upset, all the frustration of losing. But I had to laugh when some people were saying, will Earl Campbell run hard today? Will he put out, will he produce? Folks, that's Earl Campbell, all-pro, a man with tremendous pride.
You can believe he will put out today. 2nd down and 4 from the Detroit Lions 34-yard line. Campbell the lone setback for the Houston Oilers. Oliver Luck handing off to Campbell, going up the middle. Picking up just a couple of yards, Doug English, the fine defensive tackle, the all-pro tackle for the Detroit Lions, in on the tackle.
And it's interesting to watch Oliver Luck early. Now remember, he got his first NFL start today. He played only 3 quarters last week in a terrible game against Cincinnati. He did reasonably well, but it's important to establish something here. The reason he's starting and Gifford Nielsen is on the bench is his increased mobility. He's also a very intelligent quarterback.
And we got to look at that a little while ago when he scrambled around and completed a pass to Renfro. All right, 3rd and 1 on the 35-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Hand off to Campbell, comes to the right side, knocked down right at the 35-yard line. The Lions playing great defense.
What an excellent play by William Graham, number 33 for Detroit. Came underneath the block and upended Earl Campbell. If he hit him high, Earl would have fell forward for the 1st down. Now they're about a yard short.
On 4th down, and you hear the sprinkling of crowd reaction here at the Astrodome telling the Oilers to go for it, and you might as well.
You might as well start something. You must start the ball rolling. Right now it's rolling backwards against the Houston Oilers. They have to change momentum. This is an attempt at doing that.
Everything to gain and nothing to lose. 4th and 1 for the Houston Oilers. On the line, 35-yard line. Hand off to Campbell. He gets the 1st down. Doug English again in on the tackle for the Detroit Lions.
And they ran behind those 2 big rookies on the right side of the young Oiler offensive line. number 74, Bruce Matthews, and Harvey Salem. Salem is 264 pounds, a big horse, and of course Earl Campbell, all 240 pounds of him, is a battering ram. He gets the first down. Good call by Studley.
You know, we were talking to Coach Studley yesterday at the Oilers training camp, and he was telling us that the Oilers do indeed have a good offensive line.
Young and growing, and that's one of the reasons they hope they can keep Earl Campbell here. He's asked to be traded. He hopes that won't happen. Obviously, he is the franchise. 1st and 10 at the 33. Renfro in motion. Toss back to Campbell. Coming to the right side. Stops, slips just a little bit, and is dropped for a couple of yards loss. Mike Dawson, number 73, and William Gay, number 79, in on the tackle. 9 minutes and 28 seconds left here in the first quarter. No score, as the Houston Oilers have taken the opening kickoff and have marched the length of the field trying to score. Watch the activity. You see English on the center there occupying 2 men. Fantetti overruns it slightly, but the pursuit gets Earl Campbell on the cutback. A very active defense, not a dominant defense. They'll bend, but they won't break. 2nd and 11 from the 34-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Campbell again, the lone setback. Luck back to pass. Looks to his left. Throws to Campbell in the flat. Here should be some action. Campbell gets by Jimmy Williams. But he can't get away from Mike Fantetti and 2 other tacklers for the Detroit Lions. And that's one of the things that Campbell is going to do this afternoon. The Oilers' hope is catch the ball a little bit more because he's only caught 10 passes so far this year. He's not a great pass receiver out of the backfield. They haven't used him that much. It's certainly a change-up and a good idea. And it also builds confidence for Oliver Luck. The more completions, the better he feels about himself. So the Oilers have kept the ball here. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first period. And as you mentioned at the top of our broadcast, it is so important for Houston to get something going early in the ball game to build up confidence in a miserable season. 3rd and 7 from the 30-yard line. Shotgun formation. Oliver Luck, the quarterback. Back to pass. Looks to his left. Plenty of time. Throws right down the middle. Almost intercepted. Dan Wagner knocked the ball away for the Detroit Lions as the Lions were in their nickel defense. And Jim, a quarterback cannot hold the ball that long and throw it up that softly over the middle. Oliver Luck does not have the strongest arm in the world. That time he saw his receiver open for a moment. He didn't drill it in there. He laid it up. Could have been intercepted very easily. So now it's 4th and 7. Florian Kemp is in to attempt a field goal. It will be a 47-yard attempt. Ball will be placed at the 37-yard line. John James holding. Snap, the placement, the kick. Flags are down, and it is good. There are a couple of flags on the play. 47-yard field goal attempt by Florian Kemp is good. Let's see what the infraction is on the field. Illegal procedure against the Detroit Lions. So let's see what the Oilers decide to do.
There were 12 men on the defense. The foul will be refused, and the 3 points are good.
All right, so Florian Kemp kicks a 47-yard field goal. The Houston Oilers take the opening kickoff and end up with a 3-point lead, 3-0 over the Detroit Lions. And John, that's one of the things that the Oilers wanted to do. And the reason they took the penalty, wouldn't have given them the first down. So, of course, they took the sure 3 points. They lead early here in the Astrodome, looking for their first victory.
I'll tell you, trying to get cultured isn't easy. We just went to the opera and we didn't understand a word.
Yeah, but that big guy in those tights sure could sing.
Well, at least we still drink a very civilized beer. Light beer from Miller. Light tastes great.
But us impresarios drink it because it's less filling.
We can't afford to get filled up. Tomorrow night, we're going to the ballet.
Yeah, I sure hope they do it in English.
Me too.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Pontiac. It's been called one of the most innovative American cars ever. Its unique Enduraflex body panels resist minor dents and will never rust. Introducing Pontiac Fiero, America's first mid-engine production car. Fiero, a brilliant example of Pontiac innovation in action. Fiero, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Back at the Astrodome, Well, the Houston Oilers lead the Detroit Lions 3-0. Florian Kemp getting set to kick off for the Oilers. And back deep for the Detroit Lions, Ken Jenkins, and number 83, Robbie Martin. And it will be Jenkins at the 5-yard line. Jenkins loses the ball. Let's see who comes up with it.
It looks like Detroit has come up with it, Jim, and they dodged the bullet right there. Remember, and they said it to us, all of the Detroit Lions said, this team may be down, but if you let them up at all, boy, they're liable to come back and beat us, and we can't let that happen. We're thinking playoffs.
And Jenkins, who lost the ball, made his own fumble recovery. And oh, what a big break that would have been for the Houston Oilers. So, for the Detroit Lions, their first possession of the afternoon, 7 minutes, 51 seconds left here in the first period. 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. There's a look at the Lion offensive attack, their good offensive line.
Billy Sims looking for that first 100-yard game of the year.
Eric Hipple, starting quarterback for the Lions. Norris in motion. Toss back to Sims. Darts to the outside. Gets by a couple of tacklers and knocked out of bounds by Carter Hardwick, number 36.
And it was interesting talking to Billy Sims coming back to Texas and how he felt about it.
You know, Billy says that he always plays well when he comes to Texas. And what did he call this particular part of the country?
He called it Mother Earth,
oh,
as though there was something in the air that was magic that would inspire him. And he said he expected to have a good performance. And remember, then he turned around on the bench and knocked on wood.
That's it.
Billy Sims excited about being back. Monty Clark hoping that he's going to have a big game. He hasn't had one yet.
2nd and 7 from the 34-yard line. Hipple hands off to Sims again. Cuts up through the middle. Picks up a nice couple of yards right there. Tackled by Bob Abraham, number 56 of the Houston Oilers. So Billy Sims, one of the premier running backs in the National Football League. There's a defensive line for the Houston Oilers.
Two rookie defensive linemen starting, and that's the linebackers. Of course, you all know Robert Brazil, 7 times All-Pro. Greg Bingham, very active. A young secondary. They start 2 rookies in Brown and Bostic in that secondary.
And you would think that the Lions would try to exploit that they do have those young people in the secondary. 3rd and 2 from the 39-yard line. Hipple to Sims again. Close for the first down. At about the 41-yard line. Tackle there made by Greg Bingham.
Jim, you mentioned about exploiting that secondary, that young Houston secondary. Well, they will do that after they try running the ball as they get that first down, because this Houston defense is the worst in the NFL against the run. They give up close to 185 yards in the ground. So most teams that try to run the ball, they haven't even bothered to throw it. And of course, with Billy Sims as excited and enthusiastic about this game as he is, I think we'll see Detroit run the ball as they're doing.
And it was enough for the first down. 1st and 10 from the 41-yard line. 5:50 left here in the first period. Houston leading 3-0. Again, the toss back to Billy Sims. Breaks to the right side. Picked up a couple of yards. Tackled there by number 90, Bob Ham, and number 53, Avon Riley. Interesting story about Bob Ham of the Houston Oilers. He's a free agent rookie, and Chuck Studley was telling us yesterday he's very pleased with his performance so far.
Yes, he definitely is. If we take a look here, watch the defense. They're going to try and keep Sims inside. He likes to run off tackle and dart around. There, that quick movement. He's so good on the turf. He's like a mosquito on the loose. Bing, bing. He's all over the place. And this is a very young defensive team for the Houston Oilers.
Pick up of 3 yards, 2nd and 7 from the 44. Hipple back to pass. Number 56, Bob Abraham. So the Oilers coming through with the blitz, something that they have not been doing much so far this year, and I think they caught the Detroit Lions by surprise.
Houston does not have the big players on either offense or defense, therefore you have to do some things you might not want to do. Here they come with the blitz. Hipple, a fairly mobile quarterback, cannot get away from Robert Abraham.
Loss of 10 yards, so it will be 3rd and 17 from the Detroit Lions 34-yard line.
Jim, I think you put it in a nutshell. Houston has absolutely nothing to lose. Pull out all the stops. Send those linebackers blitz.
Passing situation, obviously, for Detroit. Hipple back in shotgun formation. And there are flags before the ball is snapped.
Last week, Detroit had trouble against the Giants. It certainly wasn't the Mona Lisa of a performance today. A lot of penalties early, both teams tentative.
False start on the right guard and the right tackle of the offense.
And so far, John, we've seen all the penalties go against Detroit. And as we were talking to Monty Clark and some of the other players yesterday, they were talking about this is a dangerous game for them, going against a team that, as we mentioned, has nothing to lose. And right now, the Lions, the playoff contending team, is a squad that's making all the mistakes.
And last week, consistency. You mentioned them winning 4 out of the last 5, Detroit, but they've been inconsistent. They had to squeeze by the New York Giants 15-9 last week on Monday night.
Third and a long 22. Hipple in shotgun formation. Throws to the near sideline. Ball is tipped away by number 33, William Graham. Good play there by the Houston Oilers. And now it'll be 4th down.
Hipple tried to go deep. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. No completion. Good play, defensive back to tip it away.
So that was J.C. Wilson. J.C. Wilson knocked the ball away. And the fans here having something to cheer about, which is one of the few things that they've had to cheer about so far this year here in the Astrodome.
Oh, it's been a dismal year. As a matter of fact, the fans, like the fans in Tampa Bay, have been wearing bags over their head the last few weeks. So far, we haven't seen any, but I'm sure if Houston gets behind, the fans will become vocal.
Mike Black back in punt formation. The ever-dangerous Carl Roaches back to receive it for the Oilers. A high, short kick. Roaches, fair catch. And he takes it about the 33-yard line. A punt of 47 yards. So with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first period, it's the Houston Oilers leading the Detroit Lions 3-0.
Pontiac.
Like a burst from the sun, 2000 Sunbird has arrived. Pontiac's overhead cam 5-speed performer. 2000 Sunbird, easy to own, fun to drive. 2000 Sunbird, Pontiac excitement precisely the way you like it. 2000 Sunbird, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Tired of those high fuel prices? Well, guess what? They're not getting any lower. Fight back with the Attic Blanket from Owens Corning. It's the most powerful roll of thermal protection you can buy. Before fuel bills put you in the red, get the Attic Blanket and put your house in the pink. Owens Corning, building products that put your house in the pink.
1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 33-yard line. They lead the Lions 3-0. The Oilers have 2 tight ends in the ball game now. Earl Campbell, the lone setback. Oliver Luck at quarterback. Hands off to Campbell. Comes to the right side. Picks up, it looks like a yard before he's knocked down by number 53, Gary Cobb.
You can see Earl's going to have his work cut out for him today. He is the back that's going to carry the ball for the Houston Oilers. But if the Houston Oilers are to win today, Jim, they must stay away from the turnovers. They had 7 last week against Cincinnati and losing by 41 points. On the year, they've had a total of almost 35 turnovers, 19 interceptions and 16 fumbles.
No pickup by Campbell in 2nd and 10 from the 33. 3:40 left here in the first period. Luck, play action pass, looks to his left, and is hit by number 79, William Gay. Ball is still bouncing around, and Doug France, number 77, comes up with it. So apparently the ball was still alive as Gay, who looks like he's a little slow to get up, hit Oliver Luck and forced the ball to pop loose. Doug France came on and picked it up, kept possession for the Oilers. And William Gay is a young man who's been out with an ankle injury, and the Lions really need him back.
Take a look now on the right side of your screen. William Gay will come with a big outside rush right there. Luck never saw him. Gay gets his 11th sack of the year. He's leading the Lions. Of course, English next to him. Take another look. Luck is looking downfield. He doesn't see Gay, who comes around the backside, gets him from behind him. His arm is coming forward, therefore an incomplete pass.
Campbell is out. Donnie Kraft is in. Oliver Luck in shotgun formation. Tim Wilson in motion. Luck back to pass. Throws a little bit high. Bounces around. And it's intercepted. Picked off by number 54, Roosevelt Barnes. Roosevelt Barnes, number 54, second-year man from Purdue, 25 years old, 6'2", 222, comes up with a big play for Detroit.
Watch the right side of your screen again. Number 78, Doug English this time from the tandem. Gay and English on that backside. Gets a hand on right here. He hits him as he's throwing. The ball is tipped. Defensive backs practices all the time. They love to see the ball up in the air. The interception by Detroit. They'll have it when we...
From Pontiac comes the one-of-a-kind 84 Firebird Trans Am. You can order it with aerodynamic ground effects, a high-output 5-liter V8, high-tech turbo wheels, and a close-ratio 5-speed. And knowing you, you probably will. Trans Am, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
Now you can avoid the high cost of hiring a professional plumber by handling many repairs yourself with professional quality master plumber repair parts and fittings from True Value Hardware stores. They come with step-by-step instructions for easy installation. And when you choose master plumber parts and fittings, you can be sure your repairs will last because they're all quality constructed to resist corrosion and wear. Look for them exclusively at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Along with John Dockery, I'm Jim Hill here in Houston, Texas at the Astrodome. 2 minutes, 33 seconds left. And the Houston Oilers lead the Detroit Lions 3-0. And John, you just got through talking about the turnovers, and then there's another one by Houston.
And you know, you always point to the quarterback, the man who gets more praise than he deserves when they win, more of the blame when teams lose. That time he was hit as he was throwing the ball. His protection is breaking down.
1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions at their own 48-yard line. Billy Sims and James Jones in the backfield for the Lions. Toss back to Sims, going to the right. And the Oilers are really stringing the thing out. Sims only picks up a couple of yards before he's tackled by Bob Ham. And let's go to New York now for an update with Brent Musburger.
Jim, the Eagles strike first on the Bears, and it's their all-pro wide receiver, Mike Quick, who gets free from Ron Jaworski here. This is the 9th touchdown of the year for Quick. That Bears secondary, as you know, decimated by injuries. Let's go back to Jim.
Thank you very much, Brent. Eric Hipple back to pass, looking long, going downfield, middle of the field for Ulysses Norris, just a little bit too long. Ulysses Norris, the tight end for the Detroit Lions, was wide open right down the middle of the field, and you know Hippo feels bad about that because he overthrew a sure touchdown.
It's the classic way of attacking that double zone, which basically means the 2 safeties on defense have responsibility for half the field. Now, when you send a wide receiver down the sideline, it occupies that safety and leaves the middle open. That time, he was wide open for a touchdown. Hippo just overthrew him.
3rd and 9, a minute and 50 left here in the first period. Eric Hipple in shotgun formation for the Lions at midfield. Plenty of time to pass, comes to the outside, almost knocked away, but complete to Mark Nichols, number 86.
J.C. Wilson just didn't get a jump on the ball that he'd want to get. You know, as a defensive back, Jim, you're reading that quarterback, and boy, when he throws it up, and Hipple does not throw a strong ball here, it kind of has an arch on it. Wilson just didn't get reaction right there. You see him slip a little bit. He tries to get his hand in. Mark Nichols makes a terrific reception to hold on to the ball with J.C. Wilson all over him.
A pickup of 19 yards, 1st and 10 from the Houston Oilers 31-yard line. Sims in motion to the right. Hipple hands off to James Jones. Tries to get to the right side, but there's that swarming defense by the Oilers that's been playing so well this afternoon. Tackle there by number 53, Avon Riley.
Of course, James Jones is the #1 draft choice this year for the Detroit Lions, the rookie out of Florida. And everyone says they compare him to William Andrews. He is the leading receiver. You see his leading rusher for the Detroit Lions. You see his stats after so many years. It was only Billy Sims. Now he has a partner in the backfield, and this is potentially one of the best tandems in the NFL, Jones and Sims.
And the Lions certainly want to come back and get something on the scoreboard as they trail 3-0. A minute 5 left in the first period. Hipple back to pass, looks to his left, goes back to his right, starts the scramble, throws, and it is complete. Eric Hipple in shotgun formation does a pretty good job of waiting around and finding his open receiver, Billy Sims, who was in motion, a pickup of 10 yards.
Exactly, Jim. He buys time. He's looking downfield. There was good coverage. Here he feels the pressure, darts out, and you see Billy Sims. Well, he's right between number 54 Bingham and number 56 Abraham, but Hipple zips it in there for the completion.
So Billy Sims, who has been very active so far this afternoon, is a little short of a first down. It's 3rd and 1 from the Oiler 22-yard line. 30 seconds left. Sims is out. Vince Thompson is in. 2 tight end formation. Hand off to James Jones right up the middle.
And it's fairly obvious what the Detroit Lions want to do. They want to run the ball against the worst defense in the NFL against the rush, the Houston Oilers, and that's exactly what they're doing. Take a look and watch the surge of the offensive line of Detroit. Watch the right side of your screen, right there. And Jones just puts it down, takes it up the middle for the first down.
And that was the last play of the first period. So here in the Houston Astrodome in Houston, Texas, at the end of the first period, it's the Detroit Lions trailing the Houston Oilers 3-0.
The 6000 STE from Pontiac is America's performance sedan. An engineering masterpiece that gives you an amazing command of the road. 6000 STE. Technically advanced, totally satisfying. 6000 STE, only from Pontiac.
We build excitement. Pontiac.
For years now, we've been kidding Jim here about his eyesight. The fact is that Jim has the eyes of an eagle.
Thanks, Boog.
Why, he's one of the first guys to spot light beer from Miller. Saw right away that light tastes great and it's less filling.
Sure, all you have to do is read the label. It says light has 1/3 less calories than a regular beer.
I think you want this, Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
As I was saying, it's as plain as the nose on your face.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Oh, I don't believe this.
If you want it,
I like it.
if you really like it, I really like it. We can help you get it. We're GMAC. We want it. We're GMAC Financing.
GMAC has helped more people buy their new GM car or truck than anyone, with rates that make sense on models people want, all at your GM dealer.
If you really want it, we can help you get it. We're GMAC Financing. We got it!
By Pontiac. Cars that tell the world you're not just along for the ride. Pontiac, we build excitement. And by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer, and less.
Here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, the beginning of the second period. It's the Houston Oilers leading the Detroit Lions 3-0 on a 47-yard field goal. The Lions are threatening right now, threatening to get back in the game and take the lead. 1st and 10 at the Oiler 19-yard line. Nichols in motion for Detroit. Hipple hands off to Billy Sims, breaks up the middle, picks up nice yardage after good blocking before he's knocked backwards. However, he did pick up about 5 or 6 yards there. Tackled by Bob Abraham and Carter Hardwick.
And Billy Sims behind Keith Dorney, the 5th-year man, number 70 out of Penn State, All-Pro, the #1 draft choice back in '79. Sims just powers in there, already carried the ball 6 times for 22 yards. Of course, Billy wants that 100-yard game, and he wants it here at home in Texas. And you know, if the Detroit Lions are going to find the consistency they're looking for, Billy Sims has to be part of it. Green Bay ahead of Minnesota 3-0. And remember, if that stays, it'll be a 3-way tie. The Lions win here in the NFC Central.
Hand off again to Sims. Picks up enough yardage for the first down and carries a couple of players with him. So Billy Sims is really starting to assert himself as Abraham again is in on the tackle, and it's enough yardage for the first down inside the 5-yard line.
Billy Sims obviously excited about today. Behind some good blocking, makes his cut right, bangs on through there. You know, you tend to think of Billy Sims, only 6 feet, about 212 pounds, as not being having power. He is strong, and he showed it right there as he lowered his head to get that extra yard.
So it is 1st and 5 from the 5-yard line. As the Lions are threatening to take the lead, they trail right now 3-0 here in the opening moments of the second period. 2 tight ends for Detroit. Hand off to Sims, who dives high in the air trying to get over the goal line. However, he's just a little bit short.
And Bingham has the ball in his hand, trying to convince the referee that it was a fumble. It was amazing, Billy Sims. He took off from about the 5-yard line, hoping to launch himself in on a wave of his offensive lineman into the end zone. Take a look at this. Launching himself from about the 5, right here. Go up, 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 hoping to ride the wave into the end zone. No dice, but he's close.
Looks like a space shuttle there all of a sudden the way he took off.
Looks like a guided missile.
Yeah, 2nd and 1 from the 1-yard line.
Sims already has 33 yards rushing so far this afternoon. Again, the handoff to Sims. Dives again. Touchdown. So Billy Sims gets it over himself.
This is important for Detroit because they were down 3-0. They have to get control of this game. Here Sims launches himself. A little bit of second effort right there over the goal line. You see the ball right on the goal line.
So the Detroit Lions score first here in the second period. After trailing 3-0, it's Billy Sims diving over from 1 yard out. And now Eddie Murray will attempt the point after. Murray has 61 total points so far this year. And the kick is good. So after trailing in the opening period 3-0, the Detroit Lions come back behind the running of Billy Sims. They now lead the Houston Oilers 7-3 here in the second period in the Astrodome.
Chuck Yeager for AC Delco.
In a high-performance fighter, we go from the griddle to more than 20 degrees below in just seconds. Well, here's an all-weather fighter for your car. The new Delco Freedom DuraPower battery. Hot or cold, it's got the starting power you can depend on. With a Freedom battery, you never need to add a drop of water.
Get a Delco Freedom battery starting at $39.95 for a 40 series. Call 800-AC-DELCO.
This is a Commodore home computer system. With it, you can learn music, take care of your household accounts, file your lists, type your letters, get into telecommunications, and entertain your family. But it all starts with the Commodore 64 or VIC-20. And now is the right time to start because the price of all Commodore software is now up to 50% less. Commodore computers, in more homes than any other home computer.
Monday on Emerald Point, Kay finds fulfillment with Glenn while Hillary's past comes back to haunt her.
I know what you like to do.
Scandalous tapes lead to blackmail. Monday.
Don't forget, coming up next on CBS, the second game of our NFL doubleheader featuring the Dallas Cowboys with the best record in the NFL at 9-1, taking on the San Diego Chargers with the NFL's best passing offense. That's coming up right here on CBS.
Well, isn't Dallas amazing? I mean, they were behind again for the 10th week in a row last week, and then they came back to beat Philadelphia.
Michael Black kicking off, squib kick for the Detroit Lions. Bounces its way all the way back to about the 10-yard line where Carl Roaches picks it up. Roaches, a little man, tries to drag a couple of men to him, with him rather, to the 15-yard line. Reese McCall, number 81, in on the tackle. So it will be 1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 23-yard line. A return of 12 yards. 12 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the second period. So with the score, Detroit 7, Houston 3. We'll be back in just a moment.
The beauty of a Delta faucet is when it's on, it's on. And when it's off, it's off. Its washerless design helps keep it from dripping, so it lasts and lasts and lasts. Delta faucet. We're first because we last.
New typewriter, Miss Tompkins.
New typewriter, but I've got an IBM typewriter.
You, Miss Tompkins, 8th floor.
But I love my IBM. I depend on it.
Ah, but this one's got pages of memory and it can be upgraded.
But nothing else has the IBM Touch. Give somebody else that typewriter.
But this is an IBM, a new electronic IBM typewriter.
It takes an IBM typewriter to replace an IBM typewriter, the most preferred typewriter there is.
Why didn't you say so in the first place?
The Detroit Lions lead the Houston Oilers 7-3. I'm Jim Hill along with John Dockery. 1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 25-yard line.
Oliver Luck back to pass. Looks right down the middle, throws. Complete to number 89, Mike McCluskey. McCluskey is tackled there by Ken Fantetti, who's the leading tackler for the Lion defense, and Gary Cobb.
Actually, they're using two tight ends, McCluskey and Dressel, Chris Dressel. They're both rookies. McCluskey out of Penn State, and Dressel, who just caught that pass, the rookie out of Stanford, the number 3 draft choice. An easy pass to throw, the tight end over the middle. Again, high percentage passes for Oliver Luck.
And those are the kinds of passes that Stuckley wants to throw this afternoon. Campbell's back in the backfield now. Luck hands off to Campbell. Earl breaks through with great speed, picking up great yardage, enough for the first down up to around midfield at the Lion 47-yard line. So
excuse me, he looks like a runaway tractor trailer on I-80 right there. Boy, did he follow that surge. Interesting there, now they're using 2 backs to take a little of the pressure off Earl. Here you see the leading back right there, Moriarty. A good block. Earl cuts up the middle and then just leans forward with that big bod. First down, Earl Campbell.
A pickup of 13 yards. It's 1st and 10 for the Oilers at their own 46-yard line. 11:25 left here in the second period. Timmy Smith in motion. Luck tosses back to Campbell. Goes to his right. Picks up a couple of yards. Tackle at about the 48-yard line. Tackle made there by Gary Cobb.
It's an interesting contrast. We have 2 Heisman Trophy winners as you look at Earl Campbell, 9 rushes for 24 yards. Earl Campbell in 77. And then Billy Sims a couple of years later. Both unhappy in their situations. A lot of it to do with the frustration of not winning.
2nd and 8 from the 48. Luck play action pass. Looks to his left. Throws downfield. A diving attempt and a fine catch there by Chris Dressel. So Dressel, who caught a pass just a little while ago, came back and made another great catch, a diving catch here.
You wouldn't call it a classic completion with Oliver Luck rolling and throwing the ball off balance.
Let's go to New York and Brent Musburger.
Jim, here's the situation now in the big one, Green Bay and Minnesota. Watch Meade here score, and the Packers are dominating. The Vikes and the fans now are starting to boo up in Minnesota. Back to Jim.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. 10-0 the score there, 7-3 the score here. And of course, the Lions here are going to keep one eye on that scoreboard, and they hope that Green Bay can beat Minnesota, and they can win here, and there'll be a tie in the NFC Central Division. Oliver Luck back to pass. Looks to his right. Throws to his right. Another fine catch. This time by McCluskey. So the tight ends for the Houston Oilers are really starting to insert themselves as McCluskey comes up with a great catch, and it is enough for a Houston Oiler first down.
Oliver Luck put some mustard on that ball because actually Gary Cobb was covering McCluskey very well. Here, Luck, not a classic drop back passer with a great arm, but here he put some steam on it, drills it in. McCluskey makes the catch. Cobb just misses it, number 53 right there, and it's good enough for a first down.
Good pass protection by the Oilers. 1st and 10 at the Lion 41-yard line. 9 minutes left here in the second period. Mike Renfro in motion for the Oilers. Hand off to Campbell. And he's caught by Jimmy Williams. Jimmy Williams, the second-year man from Nebraska, 6'2", 222. And as we all know about him, the Lion defensive coaches are really thrilled at the way he's been progressing as he's been in the league so far.
It's a question of enthusiasm. Watch Earl Campbell take the ball here. Williams finds a hole, meets Earl Campbell. He had no chance. And Williams is one of the reasons that Monty Clark told us that this team has turned around. Yes, they were 1-4 in the beginning of the year, and then they won 4 out of 5. Williams is one reason. The return of Billy Sims, a healthy Billy Sims, is the main other reason.
2nd and 14 from the 45-yard line for the Oilers. Campbell alone setback. Oliver Luck back to pass. There's a little pressure right down the middle. High for Renfro, and that's a very dangerous pass to throw right there.
Not only dangerous, he just overthrew the ball. Renfro went down about 20 yards and squared in front of the Detroit zone. Luck just overthrew him. The ball got away. He must have been feeling some pressure, thus the incompletion. But usually in that situation, Jim, as you know, that ball gets away. You overthrow a receiver. A lot of times the defensive back is standing back there for an interception.
Those are the stats on Luck so far this afternoon. 3rd and 14 from the Detroit Lion 45-yard line. 8 minutes and 14 seconds left here in the second period. Luck back in shotgun formation. 4 wide receivers in now for the Oilers. High snap. Luck throws to the far sidelines. Ball is knocked away there by Bobby Watkins, a second-year man from Southwest Texas State.
What a great reaction by Bobby Watkins. He led the team in interceptions, number 27, Bobby Watkins, with 5 in 82. He has 3 this year. He just made a great break on the ball. Oliver Luck made it easy for the defensive back because he looked all the way. He cocked his arm. He wound up. That gave Watkins time to react and break up the play.
So it is 4th and 14. John James is in to kick now for the Oilers. Kenneth Jenkins is back for the Lions to receive. Look at Jenkins' stats there for the year. Jenkins gets a high punt off, trying to angle out at the near sidelines. The ball hits on about the 1-yard line and goes into the end zone for a touchback. A punt of 45 yards. So with 7 minutes and 56 seconds left here in the second period, it's the Detroit Lions leading the Houston Oilers 7-3.
It takes guts to redesign one of the world's most popular cars. Introducing Toyota Corolla Reborn. This family sedan was reborn to please you with more comfort. Reborn to please your family with more room. Reborn to please anyone with its mileage and affordability. The 1984 front-wheel drive Toyota Corolla. Reborn to please the world.
I mortgaged my house to get my first tug. Believe me, the Jeannie T needed plenty of work.
Good night, Skipper.
Today, I own 2 others just like her. Because we give our customers a good, honest pull for the money, and that pays off. People who make Meisterbrow work the same way. These days, I can pick any beer I want. But this tastes as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much. Gentlemen, the drinking lamp is lit.
Introducing Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Next Sunday here on CBS, a big game, the Detroit Lions against the Green Bay Packers, and it all starts at 12:30 Eastern Time. Don't forget, you'll be able to see that game right here on CBS, and that game could also be a determining factor as to who will be in first place in the NFC Central Division. 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line for the Detroit Lions. They lead Oilers 7-3. Hipple play action pass, looks to his left, throws long downfield. And it's complete to Leonard Thompson. Leonard Thompson, the leading receiver for the Detroit Lions, comes up with enough yardage for the first down. And you know, it's kind of strange. You know, I remember you talked to Leonard yesterday, and he was talking about the coverage that he gets today.
Oh, yes, he gets double covered an awful lot. That time, Leonard Thompson, with the great speed and he averages close to 20 yards of reception, just got Willie Tullis turned. He put on a burn move as though he was going downtown. Tullis turned, and then Thompson pulled up for the completion.
That play good for 25 yards and a first down at the Lion 45-yard line. Mark Nichols in motion. Hipple tosses back to Sims, coming to the near sidelines. Good block by John James. And Sims is knocked out of bounds right at midfield by Bob Abraham.
You're right, James Jones, a good block. The big fullback, he blocked Keith Bostic, the strong safety coming up here. Let's take a look at it. Now, what a mismatch. Number 30, James Jones, 6'2", 235 against defensive back number 25, Keith Bostic. He's only 212 pounds. Right there, that gives Sims some running room. He makes the best of it for about 5 yards.
James, the rookie. James Jones, the rookie first-round draft choice from Florida. The key block that sprung Billy Sims. Now it's 2nd and 5 from midfield. The toss back to Sims again. Another good block by Jones. Flag is down on the field. Bob Abraham and Robert Brazil in on the tackle for the Oilers. Holding penalty against the Lions. You know, it's really strange how the Lions once again have been making all the mistakes penalty-wise.
And that certainly short-circuits a drive. That time they ran the same play they ran before. If it works once, why not come back to it? And it did work again, except for the penalty. Let's listen to what it is.
Offensive holding, number 64, 2nd down.
Number 64, Larry Lee.
Of course, Larry Lee is in there for the injured Don Greco, is out with a leg injury, starting the third-year man out of UCLA.
2nd and 14 from the Lion 41-yard line. 7 minutes left here in the second period. Hipple back to pass, looks to his left, throws across the middle, complete to Billy Sims out of the backfield. Sims covered there by Avon Riley and Greg Bingham, and so Billy Sims comes out of the backfield. He's been catching the ball, he's been running the ball, and he talked about yesterday he wants to have a good game. That play was good for 12 yards, and it's 3rd down and 2.
And you see his career receptions. Billy Sims is an all-purpose weapon. He can come out of the back. Remember, in his rookie year, he caught 51 passes for almost 650 yards. So Billy Sims, not only a fine runner, but also an excellent pass receiver out of the backfield. So is James Jones, by the way. Just a new dimension in their offense with 2 backs who can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Jeff Chadwick checks into the ball game for Ulysses Norris. Chadwick in motion, tossed by Hipple, complete to James out of the backfield, gets away from one tackler, picks up enough yardage for the first down, down to the 30-yard line of the Houston Oilers.
Jim, when you gamble the way the Oilers did there, and you come with the blitz, the safety blitz, the linebacker blitzing, it puts a 1-on-1 situation with a back out of the backfield. And that time, James Jones made the catch, slipped away from the defender, and it's good enough for a first down. Watch this James Jones out of the backfield. Excellent pass receiver. Already caught 33 coming into this game. Here he makes a nice move right there. Okay, Bill Kay can't make the tackle. Finally, he's tackled from behind. James Jones, first down.
Pickup of 11 yards, 1st and 10 from the Oilers 30-yard line. Eric Hipple at quarterback. Billy Sims, the deep back, and the toss to Sims. Coming to the near sideline, cuts upfield, hurdles over a couple of people.
Oh my goodness, did you see that? He hit Steve Brown with what looked like a karate kick. He leaped into the... You think he's not ready to play football today. Billy Sims is exploding. Is he excited? Watch this. He'll leap and hit number 24, Steve Brown, with a foot right in the head, right? Bing, right there. It's as though he used his foot as a straight arm. Whew. Brown actually got up and amazes me.
Get out of the way, Steve Brown. Here comes Billy Sims.
He's launched. He's a rocket.
He says he likes to play here in Texas what he calls Mother Earth, and right now he's doing it. 1st and 10.
And he is on high-octane jet fuel today, Billy Sims.
Timeout on the field. 4 minutes and 45 seconds left here in the first half. Behind Billy Sims, it's the Lions leading the Oilers 7-3.
Who makes the best-selling radials in America? Goodyear. We outsell all foreign radials combined. One reason? The Goodyear Arriva. It gives you long tread life. And best of all season traction in the wet stuff and the white stuff. The Goodyear all-season Arriva. It's one reason Goodyear is the leader in radials. No foreign maker of radials even comes close. Goodyear, #1 in radials.
When the curtain goes up in a lot of places in Atlantic City, it may seem to be the same old song and dance.
Go get 'em, girls.
It's not that way at the Sands as Sergio Mendes brings his unique musical style to the Copa Room November 18th and 19th. When it comes to entertaining you, we don't play games.
NCAA basketball returns to CBS Sports as Larry Brown makes his Kansas coaching debut against last year's runner-up Houston in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
4:45 left here in the second period. The Detroit Lions leading the Houston Oilers 7-3. Billy Sims, 11 carries for 53 yards. Eric Hipple, 5 of 7 for 82 yards. He's completed 5 in a row. Hipple tosses back to Jones this time. Jones doesn't get any blocking, and the Oilers come over to make the tackle. Bob Abraham, who's been very busy this afternoon, in on the tackle. All right, let's go to New York for an NFL update with Brent Musburger.
Jim, the Packers got a turnover on the 42. They marched down to the 5-yard line, and Dickey quickly hit John Jefferson. 17-0 now. The Packers are dominating the Vikes. Let's go back to Jim and John.
All right, Brent, thank you so very much. And you know what that means next week if the Detroit Lions can hold on and win this afternoon.
Showdown time. Ooh. 3-way tie if they win in the NFC.
2nd and 9 from the 16. Hipple back to pass, looking to his left, throws, intended for Leonard Thompson and knocked down by Willie Tellis.
Boy, Willie, and you were a defensive back. Boy, Willie made a good play on the ball. It's a question of whether he was there a split second early, but that's all you can do. You can't wait. The ball was just a quick slant into Leonard Thompson. Made a good play.
And one of the things about that is that you have to play the ball on that particular play. You can't play the man, because if you go after the man, you'll hit him instead of the ball and could end up with a pass interference call.
As you see, yes, exactly right. You see Houston Oilers sending in 4 players on their nickel defense.
3rd and 10 now from the Oilers 17-yard line. The Oilers lead, or the Oilers trail, I should say, 7-3. Hipple calling an audible, shotgun formation. Jeff Chadwick in motion. Looks to his right, gets hit as he throws, incomplete for Chadwick.
They felt in that situation against Houston's nickel that Jeff Chadwick, the free agent out of Grand Valley State, number 89, would have one-on-one coverage with Keith Bostic, and Hipple felt that he could get free. That time he was free. Hipple just didn't get the ball to him.
So it will be 4th and 10 from the 17-yard line. And the Detroit Lions are in a field goal situation now. Eddie Murray comes in with Hipple holding. The ball will be placed on the 25-yard line, so it will be a 35-yard field goal attempt. Murray's kick is good. So a field goal by Eddie Murray adds 3 more points up for the Lions. And here with 3 minutes and 48 seconds left in the second period, it's Detroit 10, the Houston Oilers 3.
Dan Gurney and his now even more powerful 1984 Toyota Supra take on the biggest challenge of all, Mrs. Gurney.
Go.
Dan is now showing her the response more horses have added to the twin overhead cam, 6-cylinder, electronically fuel-injected engine.
More horsepower!
The independent suspension, the 4-wheel disc brakes, the new leather sports seats.
Nice.
This is the right stuff. Toyota.
When you have an insurance claim, that's the moment of truth.
You want results as quickly as possible.
You don't want to call a stranger with a claim, and with State Farm you don't. You call your agent.
And State Farm claims people are there when you need them to make sure everything's handled fast and fair.
What makes State Farm Claim Service work so well is an agent who's available when you need help.
And people who follow through with your claim.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
And here's some shocking news right now for Detroit Lion fans, as it looked like Eric Hipple is injured and may not come back in the game.
Now watching the left side of your screen, you'll see Hipple. Murray will reach down to talk to Hipple, and he must have been hit. It looked on the sidelines, and there's Gary Danielson warming up, of course, the backup quarterback. And Hipple looked like he might have gotten a hip pointer or hurt something. We'll try to keep you posted on Hipple's condition.
So Eric Hipple is in question right now. Mike Black set to kick off for the Detroit Lions. Squib kick that goes out of bounds, and the flag is on the play. So the ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a 5-yard penalty against Detroit. Into the end zone, he was rushed pretty heavily there by a safety blitz, and he had a lot of contact on him, so he may have gotten injured there.
Hipple is one of those tough, hard-nosed quarterbacks. A lot of times you think of quarterbacks as kind of being fragile characters. Hipple isn't like that. He played a lot of games early in the year with an injured ankle, having it taped heavily. So if Hipple can play, I think we'll see him back in there. Although certainly Gary Danielson is an experienced, capable backup quarterback.
So after the 5-yard penalty, Black will now try and kick off from the 30-yard line. This time it stays in bounds right down the middle of the field. Steve Brown takes it about the 16-yard line. Breaks a couple of tackles, comes to the near sideline. Steve Brown tackled there by Robbie Martin after a nice return, and it will be 1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 43-yard line. So here with 3:34 left in the second period, it's the Detroit Lions leading the Houston Oilers. The score is 10-3.
The truck world has just been turned upside down. Introducing the 1984 Toyotas, the next generation of Toyota trucks, the best-looking Toyotas ever. With a new extra cab, the roomiest Toyota ever. And with this SR5, the most powerful Toyota ever, thanks to the first-of-its-kind electronic fuel injection. The truck world will never be the same.
Oh, what a feeling, Toyota.
A Christmas gift from Radio Shack.
I was having a problem finding gifts, but then I found this one-piece all-electronic phone at Radio Shack, on sale $19.95. It has auto redial, an electronic ringer, a 16-foot cord, and it hangs up when you put it down. It was such a fabulous gift, I decided to treat myself. This one's for the kitchen, the bedroom, the bathroom, the hall, the upstairs bathroom.
The one-piece personal phone, on sale $19.95, only at Radio Shack.
Chiefs, a southern town that grew because of one man's devotion. But beyond their American dream lies the terrifying mystery of Chiefs, tonight on CBS.
3 minutes and 34 seconds left here in the first half. 1st and 10 for the Houston Oilers at their own 44-yard line. 3 wide receivers in now for Houston. Earl Campbell is a lone setback. The Oilers certainly would like to get another drive going here. They trail 10-3. Luck back to pass. Looks for Campbell out of the backfield, and he makes a catch. And a good shoestring tackle there by William Graham.
He had both tight ends hooking up over the middle. They were open. Had he gotten the ball to them, he would have gotten a little more yardage. He's obviously looking for Campbell out of the backfield on the safe, high-percentage passes.
So that's one of the things that the Oilers, I think, can really look for, because Earl has only caught 10 passes coming into today's game, and he gets out into the flat. If he can get the ball in decent shape and head upfield, he could come up with a lot of yardage.
He certainly puts fear into defensive backs when they see this truck running away down the field. They have to tackle him.
2nd and 9 from the 45. Campbell the lone setback. Dressel in motion. Luck back to pass. Looks to the near sidelines. Throws. Wobbly pass, but it is complete. Complete to Mike Renfro. Renfro knocked out of bounds there by number 34, Dan Wagner.
Actually, Oliver Luck does a heck of a job to get away from Bill Gay right here. Watch him coming on the outside. A lot of pressure. Doug France is having his hands full. Here he steps up. Gay gets a hand on him. A completion to Renfro, who made a good adjustment on the ball. He came back and made the completion for the first down.
Pickup of 16 yards. 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line. 2 minutes, 15 seconds left now in the first half. 3 wide receivers in the ball game for the Oilers. Campbell alone setback. Renfro in motion. Luck back to pass. Throws to the near sidelines, complete to Renfro. And Renfro is tackled there by Bruce McNorton. So
one of the problems here in Houston, of course, has been the quarterback situation. They started the year with Archie Manning. They came to Gifford Nielsen, and now last week in the second quarter, they went to Oliver Luck, figuring at least a change of face may help this team. They need something to inspire them. They've been anemic offensively all year long.
So the 2-minute warning is being given on the field now. 1 minute 57 seconds left here in the first half. With the score, the Detroit Lions leading the Houston Oilers 10-3.
When I first bought this ranch, I could work it with 1 horse. The place has grown a little since then. And along the way, I learned something. If you sell a man good steers at a fair price, you're gonna do okay. The people that make Meister Brau beer must have gone to the same school I did. They got a beer here that tastes just as good as Budweiser. They sure do. It just doesn't cost as much. It sure don't. I got a hunch. Those boys are gonna do okay, too.
Introducing Meister Brau. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
It takes guts to redesign one of the world's most popular cars. Introducing Toyota Corolla, reborn. This sport liftback was reborn to please you with its balanced handling. Reborn to please your friends with its surprising performance. Reborn to please anyone with its low Toyota price. The 1984 Toyota Corolla Sport Liftback. Reborn to please the world.
There's a look at Eric Hipple, who has completed 5 of 9 passes for 82 yards. Looked like he was injured, but right now it seems like he's okay. We'll just see exactly how he will progress the rest of the afternoon. 2nd and 6 from the 35-yard line of the Detroit Lions. Luck back to pass. Feels a little pressure. Spins to his right. Throws back a screen to Campbell on the left side. A couple of good blocks, and here goes Earl. Campbell down At about the 15-yard line, the tackle there made by Alvin Hall. Good blocks up front by Harvey Salem and Bruce Matthews.
He makes this work by sprinting away. The defense comes. William Gay totally buys it. Earl Campbell gets the ball, makes a good cut back. Watch right here. So he gets some good blocking out front, cuts back, and then turns on speed right there to run away from the defensive backs and get good yardage. And then you heard the roar from the fans. Earl Campbell has never been booed in Houston. Pickup of 18 yards, 1st and 10 from the 14. Look, hands off to Campbell. Goes to the right. A couple of good blocks. However, those aggressive linebackers from the Detroit Lions, number 57, Ken Fantetti, comes over and makes a tackle. There was some speculation. The reason I mentioned that, the great cheers from the crowd, of course, they've had little to cheer about with an 0-10 team, a team that hasn't won in 17 outings. But Earl Campbell, after the last game, Jim said he wanted out of Houston. He wanted to be traded. There was talk of him going to the new league. He said no foundation to that whatsoever. And there was speculation that he might be booed here this afternoon. No way. He's Earl Campbell. People appreciate him. Not with efforts like that. So the timeout on the field. The Houston Oilers have called timeout. 54 seconds left here in the first half as the Houston Oilers are threatening, but they trail 10-3.
Her name is Deborah Crowder. She's a single parent with 2 children. Without job skills, her chances of being more than just another welfare statistic are 0.
But she's beating the odds. I'm James Lofton of the Green Bay Packers, here to thank you for giving Deborah and her children the chance in life that she needs.
Here in Milwaukee and all across the country, through your support of United Way, the Urban League is giving people like Deborah the training and guidance they need. Today, with government programs being cut back or eliminated, the critical need for job training and employment opportunities is a basic necessity for many of the people in our communities.
So, you're helping people who want to help themselves when you support the Urban League through your One United Way contribution. So that's why I can say thanks, because thanks to you, it works.
For all of us, the United Way. Give me a kiss.
The preceding message was brought to you by the National Football League. 2nd and 9 from the Detroit 13-yard line. The Houston Oilers, behind Earl Campbell, who is responding to controversy, are threatening to tie the game up. Campbell is a lone setback. 3 receivers to the near side. Oliver Luck at quarterback. Dressel in motion. Luck back to pass. Throws to the right. And all the way in the end zone. Mike McCluskey all alone in the end zone for a Houston Oilers touchdown. He just found that hole in the zone, put it in there for the touchdown. Mike McCluskey makes the reception. He's open. And we're just about to have a tie game here in Houston if the extra point is made. Good Oliver Luck, a controlled passing game. Comfortable, gaining his confidence. A shot in the arm that the Oilers needed. 13-yard touchdown pass. And now Florian Kemp is in the ball game to attempt and tie it up. John James holding. The crowd reaction told you the story. So after a touchdown pass by Oliver Luck, the game is all tied. 50 seconds left here remaining in the first half. The Houston Oilers have come back to tie the game against the Detroit Lions. The score is 10-10. You know, we were talking a little earlier, John, about how the Oilers wanted to really get something out of their opening possession. But it is kind of strange, and the fans are starting to respond, as I think this is really the first time in a long time they've had a lot to cheer about. And I think this is the first time in a long time where the Oilers have had a competent offensive and defensive attack. Exactly. They've been inconsistent on both sides. They're in the bottom half in most categories in the NFL. And the fans last week, Jim, there were signs around here like EB phone home, Eddie Biles, or bum call collect. Today the fans are happy, they're excited, and they have something to cheer about. Oliver Luck is moving his team. Earl Campbell is responding to the pressure. That was a nice drive, a consistent drive. 6 plays, 56 yards. Finally, the 13-yard pass for the touchdown to McCluskey. So with 50 seconds left in the first half, It's a tie ball game. Ken Jenkins is back to receive for the Detroit Lions. And the kickoff comes to him at the 5. Jenkins gets to the outside. Penalty flag thrown, and he's tackled there by number 24, Steve Brown. So let's wait for the call from referee Frederick. There it is. Holding against the Detroit Lions. The fans cheer that. But the fans up in the great state of Michigan are probably relieved to hear that Eric Hipple has come back in the ball game.
There was holding by number 51 on the kick return team. First down.
You know, it's interesting. You mentioned Eric Hipple. He is healthy. He's had those ankle problems. And talking to him last night, you could see in the hotel right before their 9:30 meeting that he was really excited. He was almost wired because I think they sense they have something going in Detroit. That playoff spot shot is what's motivating them now.
And they want to get going now with 42 seconds left. The first half, Hipple in shotgun formation. Throws to his right, complete to Leonard Thompson. Thompson up to the 30-yard line. Goes out of bounds at about the 39-yard line, tackled there by Steve Brown.
And you have to respond to an offense that realizes they have that much time. There's 32 seconds left. They go to the air. They get it to their big play receiver, Leonard Thompson. Great speed. Take a look at Hipple here. Thompson comes across the middle, and what a great move he puts on Willie Tullis. Watch him running right here. See if we can get a look at it. Fakes inside, breaks outside, freezes Tullis in his tracks, and gets out of bounds on top of that so they don't waste a timeout. Good play by Leonard Thompson.
A pickup of 23 yards, 1st and 10 from their own 39-yard line. Hipple again in shotgun formation. Throws deep down the middle. Intended for Leonard Thompson, or intended, I should say, for Jeff Chadwick, number 89. Keith Bostic, number 25, defending on the play.
And there was some bumping going on as we take a look at what's happening at halftime. Brent and Irv with scores and highlights. Legends of the game. What a tandem, Lincoln and Lowe. Well, you remember Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe?
Oh, I certainly do. I remembered when I first started playing, I played with Paul Lowe, and Keith Lincoln came back to the San Diego Chargers from Buffalo, and they're two fine gentlemen and a great running back tandem. 2nd and 10 from the 39. Hipple in shotgun formation. Here's Leonard Thompson again. Good moves up to about the 40-yard line, and it should be enough yardage for the first down. Timeout on the field by Detroit. Carter Hardwick in on the tackle for the Houston Oilers.
And you talk about those two, Lincoln and Lowe. We have here in the Detroit Lions a potential for a great tandem in Billy Sims and James Jones. And I mean, you think of all the great ones. Lincoln and Lowe back in 1963, they led the Chargers to the AFL championship, and they had over 2,000 yards combined rushing. That was in a 14-game season. Terrific tandem. I mean, you usually think of guys like, you know, Zonka and Kick, Taylor and Horning, but Lincoln and Lowe, they're in that kind of category. We'll see them at halftime.
In a class all by themselves. 17 seconds. Monty Clark on the sidelines there talking to Eric Hipple.
It's interesting now, Jim, what do you do with 17 seconds left? Okay, you have the ball 1st and 10 around the 50-yard line. Do you go for it all, or do you go for a field goal situation? I think Eric Hipple and Monty Clark will decide to try to get in field goal range, although they might have to get a little closer because Eddie Murray has that injured leg, that injured thigh, so it changes their thinking a little bit. They'll have to get in a little closer, or it might tempt them to even go way downtown for the touchdown with Leonard Thompson, their game breaker.
I agree with you also. Another reason why the Lions have one timeout left, so they can stop the clock as soon as they make a completion. So it's 1st and 10 at midfield for the Lions. Hipple in shotgun formation. And he's back to pass. Throws to his left. Complete to Billy Sims out of the backfield. Enough yardage for the first down, and the Lions immediately call timeout with 10 seconds left.
Now with 10 seconds left, there's plenty of time for one more play, provided you can get out of bounds. So their choices come down to basically two. Throw to the sidelines and try to get a little closer for Eddie Murray. This would be a 55-yard field goal with an injured leg. I think it's just about impossible. Or your other option is to fake going outside, go downtown, and try to get the touchdown. Of course, they have guys that can. Leonard Thompson, of course, number 39, is the big play man, but we've seen Ulysses Norris, a tight end, also 6'5". He can go up and get the ball if needs be.
And don't forget, coming up next on CBS Sports, the second game of our NFL doubleheader, featuring the Dallas Cowboys with the best record in the NFL at 9-1, taking on the San Diego Chargers with the NFL's best passing offense. That's coming up right here on CBS.
And look at next Sunday, the big one. If the Detroit Lions win today and Green Bay continues the way they are out in Minnesota, we're going to have a three-way tie in the NFC Central. Of course, Detroit has their hands full right now with the Houston Oilers score tied 10-10. 10 seconds left. Monty Clark trying to figure out how to put some points on the board. No timeouts left.
And the Lions had better not keep one eye on the scoreboard and one eye on the Oilers, because they'll get the one eye on the Oilers poked out if they aren't careful.
You got to take care of business. And that's what Monty was worried about. Remember, he said we have to have the desire to win, also the desire to prepare to win. Keep our mind on what we're doing. Concentration, alertness.
That's even more important. The desire to prepare to win. 1st and 10. The Oilers 40-yard line. Hipple in shotgun formation. Throws deep down to his left. Activated by Willie Tullis. The pass intended for Leonard Thompson, and Tullis made a great defensive play, coming up, knocking the ball away and almost picking it off.
It was a good idea. The execution was poor, but Leonard Thompson ran down, ran a post into the middle. Tullis didn't completely buy it, and then Thompson came back out to the sideline so that if he did catch the ball, he could run out of bounds and stop the clock. They'd try a field goal, but Tullis made a good reaction on the ball. Hipple didn't have much zip on that one.
Hung it up there just a little bit. Hipple so far this afternoon, 8 of 13 for 127 yards.
With 3 seconds left, Jim, you have to figure they're going to go downtown for the Hail Mary pass. Jeff Chadwick, number 89, is 6'4". He's a good idea. So is Leonard Thompson, a good one. They're going to send 3 receivers deep.
To the near side. Here it comes. Deep into the end zone. And intercepted there by number 25, Keith Bostic. So Keith Bostic comes up with an interception as the Lions try to get a score here at the end of the first half. However, they fail. The fans are cheering. The score is tied. Houston 10, Detroit 10.
By the all-new Toyota Corolla Sport Liftback, reborn for 1984. See it at your local Toyota dealer. And by Goodyear, makers of Arriva, the all-season radio.
For the first time in his life, he's struggling, having a hard time in math. He needs help. He can get that help with the home computer from Texas Instruments. It has more educational cartridges than any other computer. They challenge, encourage, make learning fun. The home computer from Texas Instruments. It can give your child a head start in school that could last a lifetime.
Canon's AE1 program is impressing a lot of people. For the pro photographer,
it's even more advanced.
And for Super Bowl champ Joe Theismann,
it's even simpler to use.
No matter how tough the shot, the program mode automatically sets the camera for the best possible photo.
This Canon is super.
The Canon AE1 program. So advanced, it's simple. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics.
Torture test after torture test. Day and night. The wear and tear of 5 tough years in just 15 weeks at the General Motors Proving Grounds.
All yours, Brenda.
Even if you never put your GM car through anything like this, it's good to know we did. Nobody sweats the details like GM.
Spend your Thanksgiving holidays with CBS Sports. We'll have a full menu of great games, starting with the NFL on Thanksgiving Day. The St. Louis Cardinals take on the Dallas Cowboys. Friday, college football takes center stage as Alabama meets Boston College. Saturday, our coverage of college basketball tips off with Kansas against Houston, followed by a college football classic, Nebraska and Oklahoma. And on Sunday, an NFL doubleheader. All here Thanksgiving Day through the weekend on CBS Sports.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross. Irv, Roy Green's working on a record for the Cardinals. We'll get to that story in a minute, but first the Eagles and the Bears. Soldier Field in Chicago, 2 touchdown passes. They're tied at 7. The big development as far as the Bears are concerned, Mike Ditka says Jim McMahon will be his quarterback the rest of the season. Vince Evans says maybe I'll jump leagues. But it was Ron Jaworski who got the Eagles going.
Got him going quick to Mike Quick, a 47-yard touchdown pass. That's his 9th TD catch of the year, Brent.
Now watch Jim McMahon dish it off. Or at least everyone thought he dished it off. Still had it. Fired the touchdown pass to Dennis McKinnon, the rookie wide receiver out of Florida State. They are tied at 7. The Jets have struck like lightning. It was scoreless in the second quarter. Then Crutchfield from the 1, and then Lynn with an interception goes back in, and now the Jets are ahead of the Bills by 14 points. Miami and New England. Tony Collins has scored for the Patriots, so too has Grogan on a 1-yard run. The Dolphins have kicked 2 field goals, one a 52-yarder by Von Schaman in that game. Cleveland dominating Tampa Bay right now. Brian Sipe, the quarterback there. The Browns lead the Bucs 10-0. Irv, show us the highlights.
Cleveland taking control of this game earlier, Brent. Always do it with the running game. There's touchdown run number 1 by Mike Pruitt.
And it looked a little cold there along Lake Erie, didn't it, when McKay with the hat on? Cincinnati and Kansas City, and the Chiefs lead at 13-6. They are in the second quarter of that game out west. And now the record. Roy Green has caught 4 passes, all for touchdowns, thrown by Neil Lomax. 15, 23, 7, and 62 yards. If he catches one more, he ties the NFL record of 5. Kellen Winslow of the Chargers was the last to accomplish that. Bob Shaw, a veteran, he was the first. Now, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, and our old friend Raul Allegre has kicked a field goal for the Colts. The Steelers get a touchdown out of Abercrombie. It is 7-3 now in the first. Green Bay and Minnesota. This was supposed to be close. But the Packers, who play the Lions next Sunday in Milwaukee, their defense is simply too dominant right now for the Vikes. Bart Starr knowing he had to have this game. Some say his job is on the line. Watch how his defense responded. Down on the 1-yard line. Then the Vikes punted. And after good field position, the Packers drove in for a score. Mike Meade climaxing it from 1 yard out. Then again it was the Packer defense, forcing still another turnover. And Dickey hit Jefferson. And it ran to 17. Then they made it 19 just moments ago when Dills dropped back in the end zone and he was tackled there for a safety. So again, it is 19-0, time running down in the second quarter of that game. Detroit and Houston, of course, the action you're watching here on CBS, they are tied at 10. You know the storyline. If the Lions can come back and win it, it'll be a 3-way tie in the NFC Central if the Packers hold on. Oilers trying to win for the first time. Irv, I can't believe that you thought Billy Sims committed a personal foul on this one play.
Now remember now, a running back must keep his feet on the ground. If he hurdles or leaves with his feet, it's a personal foul if he makes contact. Is that a personal foul or not? He got 2 of them.
Well, they both got in his way. I mean, what's he supposed to do?
Keep his feet on the ground.
Huh? You're defensive guys. I can't believe it. You dish out all that punishment, and then you get a little...
Well, the official has to rule intent. Did he mean to hurt the guy, or did he just do it inadvertently?
All right. NFL Today. We'll continue on CBS after these messages from your local stations.
Monday.
She thinks we're having an
Scarecrow and Mrs. King have an undercover affair to protect the princess, but their royal romp becomes a race against murder. And on Aftermash, Potter's niece turns Alma Cox green with envy. Then is Newhart's play in for a rewrite when Johanna wants the lead?
You're just too darn old.
And on Emerald Point, Kay finds fulfillment with Glenn, while Hillary's past comes back to haunt her.
I know what you like to do.
Scandalous tapes lead to blackmail on Emerald Point, Monday.
This is CBS.
Do you remember Lincoln and Lowe? No, not the fellows who wrote My Fair Lady, Camelot, and those other Broadway classics. That two-man team was Lerner and Lowe. Lincoln and Lowe are Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe, and their performances for the Chargers back in the early years of the American Football League brought a touch of Camelot to San Diego. Their glory days are now recalled by Irv Cross in this Legends of the Game profile.
The man at the desk is the Director of Alumni Relations at Washington State University. The man at the oven owns and operates Louisiana Barbecue, a fast foods restaurant in San Diego. Their lives are very different today, but back in the early 60s, Keith Lincoln and Paul Lowe worked together as the finest backfield in the American football.
Once he got in the open one-on-one, he was almost impossible to bring down.
Keith Lincoln lacked Paul Lowe's breakaway speed. Otherwise, the two men were virtual equals. So when Lincoln joined the Chargers in '61, Lowe acquired both a running mate and a rival.
I was the yard season, that kind of thing. And my bottom line with him, to Paul, would be something like, well, let's see, you've carried the ball 300 times and you're averaging 4.5 a carry. I've carried it 300 times, I'm averaging 6.5, so there's no argument, right, Paul? And he'd tell me something like I was more rested or whatever the situation was. But actually, I think that that's a healthy situation in any ball club to have two competitive running backs that are trying to outdo each other.
They parted as close friends and went their separate ways. Lincoln back to his alma mater in Washington State, and Lowe here in a San Diego eatery. But that special chemistry that existed between them is never more than a phone call away.
Hello?
Hey, Keith. How you doing?
Luther.
Yeah. I thought you would get in touch with me before you left town.
Hey, I meant to. I tried to, but you're busy cooking ribs all the time.
Luther doesn't weigh any 185 today, Irv.
He's been eating a lot of those ribs. Okay, he's about 260 or 270.
There go the profits, right? Okay, let's send you back to the stadium now and the game you're enjoying on CBS.
Welcome back to the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, where the score at halftime. The Houston Oilers are tied with the Detroit Lions at 10-10. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Hill along with John Dockery. And John, I'm wondering your assessment of the first half because the Lions have given life to the Oilers.
They certainly have, and this is an 0-10 Oiler team. If you let them up, they can beat you. Lions were worried about that. Lions, of course, fighting for a playoff spot, especially when you consider what's happening with Green Bay and Minnesota. Green Bay beating Minnesota. I think the most interesting part of today's game is the performance of the two Heisman Trophy winners, the Stars, both upset, but both playing well today. Billy Sims, 11 carries for 53 yards. Earl has carried 11 times for 21 yards. He's also caught another 30 yards in passing, both contributing. Oliver Luck playing well.
And it just goes to show you what the superstars, the true superstars, will do when they are surrounded by controversy.
It certainly hasn't been, yes, exactly right. It certainly hasn't been a dominant offensive game. Both defenses playing well. One of the teams is going to have to come out in the second half and take control. Of course, Detroit, more of a seasoned team, more experienced, more used to winning, so obviously they'll have an edge. But Houston at home is getting a taste of what victory might be about after losing 17 in a row, so who knows?
They have everything in the world to gain and nothing really to lose, and maybe that's why they were so happy and happy-go-lucky yesterday at workout.
As you look at the stats, turnovers not much of a factor. Time of possession fairly close. The rushing yardage, the Oilers not doing much. Billy Sims, the main rusher for the Lions. Passing yardage, relatively even. So statistically, the first half is relatively close, and the score indicates that. It's 10-10. Take a look at the replay now. This is a touchdown. Billy Sims takes it up over the top after a 10-play drive. 52 yards, 4.5 minutes. Detroit took the lead 7-3 at this point. But Oliver Luck brought them back. He finds his tight end, Mike McCluskey out of Penn State, down the seam. It's good for the touchdown. This puts Houston back in the game, score tied 10-10 after the extra point. And that's where we stand right now.
So the Detroit Lions have come back out on the field. The Houston Oilers haven't come back yet. The score 10-10 here in the Astrodome in Houston, Texas.
Give me a Jimmy, it can go anywhere. GMC Jimmy, it can even go there. Give me a Jimmy, I'll work all day. GMC Jimmy, I'll go out and play. Give me a Jimmy to get the job done. GMC Jimmy to follow the sun. GMC, a truck you can live with.
In these modern times, the person who goes to work may not have far to go. But at the Hat of the Month Club, the boss better keep moving. To keep the books, organize the files, write the letters, check out the inventory, find time to create, and still keep on top of things. Yet even a thriving business can reach a point of diminishing returns. A good time to learn about the IBM personal computer. With this tool for modern times, a person can quickly master such jobs as accounting or word processing. Even use the IBM personal computer to forecast growth. All helping the business person at home to wear many hats, while selling even more. And that can be a feather in anyone's cap. The IBM personal computer. Try one on at a store near you.
America is on the move, and Chevrolet is supplying the wheels. Chevrolet and you taking charge. And by Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears.
Score, the Houston Oilers 10, the Detroit Lions 10. Eric Hipple, 8 of 15 for 127 yards. Looks like he's doing okay. I'm sure he's still just a little bit sore, but there's one thing about game day, John, as you know, you can always make it through a game unless it is a very serious injury. There's Oliver Luck on the other side, and the Oilers, when they came back out on the field, there's Luck statistics, 11 completions out of 16 attempts, 96 yards, 1 interception, but 1 big touchdown that tied the ball game.
Exactly. Both quarterbacks performing about on an equal level. They both have 1 interception. This is really the story of the game. When you look at Billy Sims, he's hot, 11 carries for 53 yards, 1 touchdown. Earl Campbell, 11 for 21. But also remember that Earl has caught 3 passes, something he doesn't do that often, for 32 yards. So he is up around that over 50 yards in combined rushing, receiving yardage, and he's providing some of the impetus today for the Houston Oilers.
And I would think, wouldn't you, John, that we might see more of Earl coming out of the backfield and catching the ball too?
I think so. Of course, we'll see the short passing game continue. I think the Houston Oilers still have to do some gambling. They're not a team that's used to winning. They're used to that coconut falling off the tree and hitting them on the head. They look for ways to lose.
Next Saturday, right here on CBS, the NCAA Today. There's a look at the schedule of games that you'll be able to see. Washington State versus Washington. That is the big one. Of course, the Huskies of Washington, if they can win because of UCLA losing yesterday, they will go back to the Rose Bowl. It all starts right here on CBS at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
How about Washington yesterday, Jim? They shut out SC 24-0. Washington State also a winner. They beat California 16-6. Should be a good game next week right here on CBS.
And we have a good game right now. It's tied at halftime. Florian Kemp getting ready to kick off now for the Houston Oilers. Ken Jenkins, number 31, back deep for the Lions. And the ball goes to Jenkins at the goal line. And Jenkins gets neck-tied up about the 27-yard line. And that's where the Lions will take over 1st and 10. A return of some 27 yards. Steve Brown in on the tackle.
While we have a moment, I'd like to tell you all that this telecast is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited.
1st and 10 at the 27-yard line for the Detroit Lions. Eric Hipple back in at quarterback. And Hipple hands off to Billy Sims. Sims up the middle, fumble. And the Lions recover.
And Jim, you know, neither team has taken control of this game. Certainly the Detroit Lions haven't. Certainly the Houston Oilers haven't. They've just been playing it close to the cuff. No one has stepped forward and said, this is my game. Someone's going to have to do it soon.
Ulysses Norris recovered the fumble of Billy Sims. And as long as the game is in that kind of limbo, then the Oilers have a chance. And that's one of the things that the Lions were afraid of. You don't want to give them a chance.
Sure, a fighter that's been beaten many times. Boy, you want to knock him out early so he doesn't start to believe that he can beat you.
2nd and 5 from the 32. Hipple hands off to Sims again. Off the right side, picking up a couple of yards. Tackle there by Jesse Baker, 5th-year man out of Jackson State.
And it's interesting when we're talking about Billy Sims and the obvious enthusiasm and excitement. Yesterday he told us that he had bought 80 tickets for this game, that he had 4 brothers, his grandmother, his friends, his relatives. They were all coming to the game today.
Yeah, that's section D right in front of us. Yeah.
I think Billy can afford it.
1st and 10 for the Detroit Lions at their own 37-yard line. Opening moments of the second half. The game is tied 10-10. Slot to the right. Hipple back to pass. Throws to Sims on the screen to the right. And here goes Billy. Dancing his way into up around the 47-yard line, and it's just amazing. Robert Brazil, Avon Riley, Willie Tullis in on the tackle. It's amazing what this man can do when he gets just a little bit of room.
One of the reasons it worked, watch this, he fakes here to Jones, right? Defense moves, Billy Sims gets the ball, follows his blockers, and then does the rest. Vintage Billy Sims. Watch him move here. Glide, slide, missed tackles. Billy Sims gets a 1st down for the Detroit Lions. The score here in the Astrodome is tied. Oilers 10, Lions 10. We shall return.
Chevrolet, taking charge.
One company provides cars and trucks to satisfy the wants and needs of virtually every man and woman in the USA. That's today's Chevrolet.
Taking charge.
One company puts some of the world's most advanced manufacturing and design facilities to work for America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Taking charge.
America, you're on the move again. And Chevrolet is providing your wheels.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
Our first company picnic wasn't much. 2 bags of chips and a 6-pack. But things changed, because we give our customers a good job for a good price. Call it good business, like this Meisterbräu. Sure, I can pick any beer now, but Meisterbräu tastes every bit as good as Budweiser, and it doesn't cost as much, so there's no contest. Hey, any of you overpaid, underworked people want a beer?
Introducing Meisterbräu. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
It isn't often the FBI gets caught in a con game, but when they do, it's a beaut. Sit in on the con game on 60 Minutes, Sunday on CBS.
Bob Ham was the injured player for the Oilers. We're happy to report he just got the wind knocked out of him. He's out of the game. Malcolm Taylor is in the game now, his replacement. 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line for the Detroit Lions. Eric Hipple, quarterback. Hipple, quick pass to the left to Leonard Thompson. Thompson gets a good block from Jones and picks up almost enough yardage for the 1st down. It's going to be very close inside into Houston Oilers territory. The tackle there made by Jesse Baker and Bob Abraham. Abraham's been a very busy man this afternoon.
And as a defensive back, you must give a guy like Leonard Thompson with that blazing speed room. That's what happened there. Leonard Thompson just went down, hooked up. The ball was delivered on time, took it upfield, and he's very, very close to the 1st down.
So it's 2nd and 1, actually a little less than a yard, at the Oiler 44-yard line. Scores tied 10-10. Norris in motion. And Eric Hipple takes it on the quarterback option. Goes to the right. Runs into a little trouble. Flag is thrown, but he picks up enough yardage for a 1st down, and it looks like it's going to be unnecessary roughness, John.
You know how defensive players are. When they see a quarterback running with the ball, it's like throwing raw meat to a hungry shark. I mean, you just get so excited that you tend to overreact. That time, it looked like a defensive foul. Exactly right. Unnecessary roughness. That a planned play. Hipple just took the ball. Wasn't much of a fake. He just took it around the right end, He has been very successful this year running the ball. He's already, here, take a look at it right here. There's the hit. Okay, right there. You see the arm coming across. That was Keith Bostic.
Number 25 on the defense. A blow to the head of the opponent.
But now Hipple has come out, and Gary Danielson has gone in. We'll try and get an update, an injury report on Eric Hipple on the sidelines. But the penalty puts the ball deep in Houston Oilers territory. 1st and 10 at the Houston 23-yard line. Gary Danielson. Pitch back to Sims. Sims to the near sideline. Gets a good block from Jones. Gets down inside the 10-yard line. Tackle there made by Carter Hardwick and Keith Bostic.
And what blocking in front of him. Watch the cornerback, number 25 in the safety. Keith Bostic playing soft. And James Jones just runs into him, keeps pushing him. See Bostic giving ground. You can't do that. You must force the play. Jones, great block, stays with Bostic. Billy Sims right behind him for a big gainer.
Pick up of 15 yards. It's 1st and 6 now from the Oilers 6-yard line. The score is tied at 10 to 10, but the Lions are threatening. 3 tight ends now for the Lions. Billy Sims, James Jones in the backfield. Pitch back again to Sims. Comes to the near sidelines. Gets a block. There's a crack. Gets down to about the 2.5 to 3-yard line. Robert Brazil in on the tackle for the Oilers.
But it's interesting that time, number 25, Keith Bostic, knew what he had done on the play before. He gave too much ground. He was too soft. That time he forced the issue, came across, met the blocker, and forced depth in the backfield. Thus the play was stopped for a short gain of 2 yards.
Billy Sims so far this afternoon, 15 carries for 80 yards. And it's really important, I would think, John, that the team that scores first in the second half will have a big advantage because, you know, the Oilers were going, and I'm sure they were very happy at halftime, but they had to remain under control. This could do a great deal of confidence for the Detroit Lions, who didn't play that well in the first half. Danielson throws back to his left. Man, wide open. James Jones, the rookie from Florida, coming out of the backfield, completely wide open, no one around him, and Detroit has scored.
That's just a delay. Boy, he had all the time in the world to throw. Danielson knew he was wide open through that soft pass. Touchdown, James Jones.
Robert Brazil was the closest defender to him, and you have to know that that was a mental mistake then by the Houston Oilers. So Eddie Murray is in now to attempt the point after. It is good. So Gary Danielson connects with James Jones coming out of the backfield. Eddie Murray kicks the extra point, and with 10:25 left in the third period, the Detroit Lions have scored. They lead the Houston Oilers 17 to 10.
Chevrolet is taking charge with a new high-output Camaro. A Camaro Z28 that did a test track 0 to 55 in 6 seconds. A Camaro with remarkable new handling. A Camaro with sure-footed braking.
Z28.
Camaro, more beauty, more beast.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
One computer company has been shaping the way business does business for 99 years, NCR. Today, NCR High Technology puts computer power where business needs it most. From the powerful NCR personal computer, Decision Mate 5, to the awesome power of the 9300, the world's first full 32-bit VLSI mainframe for business. NCR, shaping the way business does business.
Studley's Dudleys, yeah, that's what the fans have been wearing here, bags over their heads ever since Chuck Studley took over as the interim head coach of the Houston Oilers.
And he knows what the name means. The interim means temporary. This is his 5th game. He has yet to win one. He's close here, though. See what his team does now. Short kick.
Picked up by Carl Roaches. Roaches comes out to about the 37-38-yard line. Tackle there made by Roosevelt Barnes.
You know, an important factor in this game is the fact that, and we haven't talked too much about it, Ed Murray's leg is bothering him. Mike Black is kicking off. Terrible kickoffs, giving Houston excellent field position. They almost have the ball at the 40-yard line.
A return of some 12 yards then by Carl Roaches. So now I think we will get a chance to see if the Oilers feel they will really have a chance to come back and win this ball game. They trail 17-10. Earl Campbell, the lone setback. Oliver Luck at quarterback for Houston. Luck hands off to Campbell, breaks back to the near side, to the far sideline. Here goes Earl.
Jim, you'd never know this team was 0-10. They go down 17-10. Earl, a great cutback runner, does what he does best, and then he just takes off around the outside. Alvin Hall makes a good play, jumps on Earl right here, sizes him up along the sideline and just jumps on his back, gets some help to take him out of bounds. What a big play, put some life back into the Houston Oilers and their fans.
Campbell now 12 carries for 63 yards, the longest run of the season for the Oilers, 42 yards. First and 10 from the line, 20-yard line. 10 minutes left in the third period. Look, quick pass to the top of the screen. Mike Renfro. Renfro down the far sideline. Renfro, a fine wide receiver, knocked out of bounds there by number 22, Bruce McNorton. So
Oliver Luck, he's mixing the run, he's mixing the pass, high percentage passes. Remember, turnovers have been the problem of the Houston Oilers. They've stayed away from him today, except for that one interception that was tipped, and he was pressured. Oliver Luck doing a reasonable, professional job at quarterback. Not inspirational, but he's running his team well.
So the Oilers have responded so far to being down 17-10. Oliver Luck at quarterback. Campbell the lone setback. Mix up in the backfield. It looked then like Luck came out and turned the wrong way. That's one of the problems that you have with a young man who has not been playing a great deal. Campbell went to his left. Luck came out, took a snap from center and turned to his right.
And Luck lost his shoe. Remember, this is only the first NFL start for Oliver Luck. Last week was his first regular season action. It was against Cincinnati, 3 quarters. He had a reasonable afternoon, throwing 24 times for completing 24 out of 41 for 225 yards. Eric Hipple along the sideline. The doctor, team doctor, looking at Hipple.
Hipple has a pinched nerve. They're going to decide if he'll come back. But it's 3rd and 3 at the 13 for Houston. Dressel in motion. Play action pass. Fake to Campbell. Luck throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston. Luck going into the corner of the end zone. 13-yard touchdown pass.
Dressel, number 88, runs right over Alvin Hall, pushes him out of the way. Alvin Hall, you see him on the ground right there on the right side of your screen. He was supposed to be covering Dressel. Big mismatch. Dressel 6'5", Hall only 5'10". Touchdown. Oilers back in this game.
The attempt by Florian Kemp. Is good. So with 9 minutes and 12 seconds left here in the third period, the Oilers have responded to being down 17-10. The score, 17-17. We'll be back in a moment.
Chevrolet taking charge.
Here comes the hottest selling Chevrolet today. The fun-to-drive front-drive Cavalier. Fire up 2 liters of electronically fuel-injected fun and experience more horsepower than the top 3 imports. The minute you feel Cavalier before, you'll know what makes Cavalier the hottest-selling Chevrolet today.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
When I retired from pro ball, I bought this place with a little help from the bank. But today we're doing just great by selling good food at good prices.
Thanks, Mike.
I think that's the only way to do business. Meisterbrow must too. This beer tastes as good as Budweiser, but doesn't cost as much. To me, Meisterbrow makes a lot of sense. To a lot of other people, too.
Ah, you said it.
Introducing Meisterbrow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Next Sunday, regional NFL action spotlighting the Minnesota Vikings against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Redskins against the Los Angeles Rams next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Back at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, along with John Dockery, I'm Jim Hill. The score is tied 17-17. There's Eric Hipple on the sidelines, bending over just a little bit. Florian Kemp kicking off for the Oilers. Ken Jenkins about 3 yards in the end zone. And Robbie Martin wisely decides Jenkins to stay right there. Let's take it from the 20.
And Jim, we have a ball game. You know, Detroit goes out in front 17-10 early in the third quarter. The Oilers, many people think that a team that's 0-10 folds up right away, but they don't. They go 62 yards in 4 plays, 1 minute and 13 seconds after Detroit scores. They score to tie it.
Chuck Studley standing on the sidelines. However, this is not an unfamiliar situation that the Oilers find themselves in. They've been tied and into overtime 3 times so far this year and have lost all 3. 9 minutes and 5 seconds left, a long way before anything like that can happen here in the third period. First and 10 from the 20. Gary Danielson in, back to pass. Throws to Billy Sims out of the backfield. Sims gets up to about the 26-27 yard line, tackled there by Keith Bostic.
And you know, when a quarterback is hurt, it's usually a devastating blow to most teams. But to the Detroit Lions, who have a backup quarterback like Gary Danielson, it's not as devastating a blow. Eric Hipple may be on the sidelines, but certainly Danielson is a good quarterback. And that's Chuck Studley signaling in the plays. And it was interesting that Chuck told us that, you know, he didn't think that he could come from behind that well because he didn't have game breakers on offense. He didn't have a game-breaking defense. Yet they've come back here.
Second and 2 from the 27. Danielson hands off to Billy Sims, breaks to his right, cuts back to his left. It looks like he picked up enough yardage for the first down. Jerome Foster, number 78 is in on the tackle, rookie from Ohio State.
And Billy Sims will be expected to carry the load, but now we change a little bit at quarterback with Gary Danielson. The style for the Detroit Lions. Hipple, terrific mobility and improvisational quarterback who can scramble and make things happen. Gary Danielson, more of the classic drop, but very smart, decent arm, throws the ball well to the controlled passing game.
Billy Sims, 16 carries for 85 yards. Norris in motion, toss back to Sims, cuts back to his left, picks up a couple of yards there before he's tackled by number 56, Bob Abraham. And you know, you mentioned the differences in the quarterbacks, and sometimes I think that will change your offensive philosophy too.
A little bit, although, you know, all the plays are coming in from the sidelines, and obviously they're relying on Billy Sims. He's having a great afternoon, going for his first 100-yard game of the season. So it will change slightly because Danielson isn't the scrambler that Hipple is.
And there's a look at a big game that the Lions are interested in. Green Bay leading Minnesota, shockingly 19-0. Second and 4 from the 30, from the 36. Nichols in motion. Hands off to Sims. Picks up a couple of yards, but with great extra effort, that second extra effort there, he gets up to about the 42, 43-yard line. Tackle there made by Robert Brazil and Bostic again. And coming up next, the second game of our doubleheader this afternoon on CBS. The Dallas Cowboys, with the best record in the NFL at 9-1, going against the San Diego Chargers, who have been just decimated with injuries, but they still have a fine passing attack at 3-7.
And it's amazing when you think of the Dallas Cowboys, but for a 2-point loss to the Raiders, they would be 10-0.
Really amazing in today's age. Sims has rushed for 96 yards. First and 10. Danielson back to pass. Throws to his left. Intended for Leonard Thompson, but again knocked away by Willie Tellis. Tellis, who's had a fine afternoon at the right cornerback position for the Houston Oilers, has almost come up with a couple of interceptions today. But once again, he played the ball very well as they were trying to get the ball into Thompson.
He was playing inside position, man-to-man. Danielson didn't put much on the ball, gave Tellis time to react. But for Leonard Thompson coming back and reaching with his body, Tellis might have intercepted that ball.
And it looked like the ball should have been thrown a little bit more to the outside to give Thompson a better angle at it to catch it.
Exactly right.
Second and 10 from the 43. Danielson back to pass again. Throws to his right. Intended for Ulysses Norris, and it's a little bit high. Bostic over covering Norris.
Well, the reason he had to throw that is he had Avon Riley, number 53, the third man from UCLA, in his face, and that's why he got rid of it quick. Danielson's a smart quarterback. He reads the blitz, number 53 right on him. You'll see him come into your screen right there. So he throws it quickly and misses James Jones out of the backfield. The idea was right, the execution wasn't.
That's right. Norris has checked out of the game. Jeff Chadwick has checked into the game, and Chadwick, we were told yesterday, could have a big game there. He's a big play man for them. Third and 10 from their own 43-yard line. The shotgun position now for Danielson. Looks to his left. Throws. Complete to Jones coming out of the backfield. Tackle there made by Robert Brazil. So James Jones comes out of the backfield, but it is not enough for a first down. And the Lions will have to punt. Michael Black into punt for the Detroit Lions.
And it's interesting that both parts, all parts of the Houston Oilers team are contributing. The offense scoring, the defense holding the Lions. And you get a sense now they may be building some belief in themselves. We'll see what this next drive produces.
The punt by Black to the near sideline. Roaches comes over and makes a fair catch at about the Oilers 15-yard line. So Carl Roaches comes over, and the Oilers will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 15. The score is tied at 17-17. 5:25 left here in the third period.
Chevrolet taking charge.
Here comes the hottest selling Chevrolet today. The fun-to-drive front-drive Cavalier. Fire up 2 liters of electronically fuel-injected fun and experience more horsepower than the top 3 imports. The minute you feel Cavalier perform, you'll know what makes Cavalier the hottest selling Chevrolet today.
Chevrolet.
And you.
Taking charge.
When I retired from pro ball, I bought this place with a little help from the bank. And today we're doing just great by selling good food at good prices.
Thanks, Mike.
I think that's the only way to do business. Meister Brow must too. This beer tastes as good as Budweiser, but doesn't cost as much. To me, Meister Brow makes a lot of sense. To a lot of other people, too.
Ah, you said it.
Introducing Meister Brow. Tastes as good as Budweiser at a better price.
Next Sunday, regional NFL action spotlighting the Minnesota Vikings against the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Washington Redskins against the Los Angeles Rams. Next Sunday on CBS Sports.
Reach out and touch someone.
So the Houston Oilers, who have lost 10 in a row this year, 17 in a row over the last 2 years, are tied with the Detroit Lions 17-17. 5:25 left here in the third period. Oliver Luck in at quarterback for the Oilers, making his first start in the NFL. Luck hands off to Earl Campbell. Campbell stumbles and falls, but he does pick up about 1.5 yards. Let's go to New York for an update with Brent Musburg on the Green Bay, Minnesota game.
Jim, the Vikes were down by 19 at the half, but now they have come back. This play set up the touchdown. Because of the Packer rush, they took advantage of it. They dropped off the screen pass. Dills here to Nelson, and then Young pounded in from the 1-yard line. So now it is 19-7. Let's go back to Jim Hill.
Thank you very much, Brent. 2nd and 10 here, 4:47 left. Luck play action pass to Campbell, back to pass. Throws deep down the middle, and it is complete. Complete to Timmy Smith. Smith tackled there by Bruce McNorton, but Smith is the leading receiver going into today's game with 48 receptions for the Houston Oilers, and what a fine receiver he is. He's tied with Carlos Carson of Kansas City for 4th place in receptions with 48 in the AFC.
And Luck, watch Luck. He waits, and watch a punishment he takes after that. Bing right there, but Smith holds on to the ball. Watch it again. Luck waits. He has some time. Smith with the reception, and look at the hit that Luck takes, and that's Doug English, number 78, all over him.
Luck never saw the reception, but it is a 1st and 10. Hand off to Earl Campbell. Campbell drags a couple of defenders with him as he picks up a couple of yards, fighting his way up to about the 45-yard line. Tackle there made by Curtis Green.
And you get a sense that the Detroit defense is picking up the tempo a little bit, the intensity level. They didn't like what Houston did on that last drive, took the ball down in 1.5 minutes and scored to tie this game. Detroit's defense, a decent defense, an enthusiastic defense led by Doug English, William Gay, 78 and 79.
Mike McCluskey is out, and Walt Arnold checks in for the Houston Oilers. Timmy Smith to the near sideline. Campbell a lone setback. The fake to Campbell. Luck throws downfield. Complete to Arnold. Arnold is tackled there by Bruce McNorton, number 29. But there is a flag on the play.
And William Gay was not happy. He was all over the referee. It's a foul against Detroit, but William Gay was arguing that he was held, but the penalty goes against Detroit. So Houston on the move again.
You know, you just got through talking about how the defense was starting to assert itself for the Detroit Lions.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer, number 79. First down.
William Gay was the guy, and he was angry. He knew the referee called it on him. He didn't think he did it. Monty Clark trying to figure out what they can do defensively now to shut down Oliver Luck, mixing up his plays well. He's moving out of the pocket to get away from the pressure.
And what the Lions are starting to do now, if they aren't careful, they can just over-aggressively get themselves into deeper trouble and allow Houston to score here. First and 10 from the 24-yard line. 3:14 left in the third period. Earl Campbell, the lone setback. Oliver Luck at quarterback. Luck hands off to Campbell, going to the far side. Earl cuts inside, getting inside the 19-yard line before he's tackled by McNorton.
And Houston doing what they want to do. They want to get some yards on first down, so it sets up a good second down and medium or short situation. Oliver Luck isn't the kind of quarterback who can drop back when it's 3rd and 20 and move the team upfield and make a completion. He's got a young offensive line. So they're using Earl Campbell. You saw his stats there, having a good afternoon to set up a good situation on second down.
2nd and 6 from the 20-yard line of the Lions. Score tied 17-17. Luck tosses back to Campbell, coming to the near sideline, cuts back to the middle of the field, down to the 10. Down to about the 5.5 to the 6-yard line is Earl Campbell, tackled by Alvin Hall.
Take a look at Earl Campbell again. Takes the play. It's a one-back offense. Good against the run. It gives you an extra blocker at the line of scrimmage. Houston doing a good job. Earl running through tackles. You cannot arm tackle this man. Just barging through, almost pulls away from the last tackler for a touchdown. It's close, 5-yard line, first down, Houston.
15-yard pickup. Campbell has now carried 16 times for 85 yards. 1st and 5 from the 5. The Oilers are threatening to take the lead. And they give to Campbell right up the middle. He gets inside the 5, down to about the 3-yard line.
We talk about the one-back offense. Earl Campbell, the big back. Of course, everybody who's watching, pro football fans, know about the Washington Redskins. That's how they went to the Super Bowl with John Riggins. Los Angeles is doing it with Eric Dickerson. Atlanta with William Andrews. And now Houston is doing it here with Earl Campbell. Making the defense play the ball at the line of scrimmage and making them do it right now. And the advantages of the one-back offense.
And they're doing it with their fine offensive line up front. Munchak, Carter, Matthews, and Salem up front for the Oilers. And Studley told us yesterday they are a good offensive line, and they're proving it so far. 2nd and 3 from the 3. Larry Moriarty. I don't have to tell you what happened. The fans here in the Astrodome did. Touchdown, Houston.
You don't have to talk about second effort, too. Larry Moriarty appeared to be stopped. Take a look from the low angle. He takes the ball off tackle. He appears to be stopped. Earl Campbell is leading as the blocker. Doesn't do much. Right there, looks like he's stopped. No whistle. Stays on his feet and lunges towards the end zone. The rookie out of Notre Dame puts the Oilers on top.
And Campbell is slow getting up. Right at the goal line on the near sideline of the field. Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell is having the trainers are out looking at Earl Campbell right there. Of course, this would be a devastating blow. Earl Campbell is the one man that Houston can ill afford to lose. He is the only game breaker they have on this team.
And when you talk about the franchise, there it is right there.
And you know, Earl is disgruntled. He talked about getting out of Houston, wanting to be traded, but there's a couple of things like Billy Sims. If he has individual success and the Oilers start winning a few games and the future looks bright, this man, Earl Campbell, may stay. The Oilers are ahead. We'll be right back.
There's more for your car at Sears' biggest automotive sale of the year. Weather Handler all-season radials as low as $99 a set of 4. Road Handler highway radials as low as $44.99 each. Save $100 on Sears heavy-duty 1.5-ton floor jack, only $99.99. And save $18 on a Sears 48 battery, just $39.99 with trade. Confidence installed day and night.
There's more for your life at Sears.
So Earl Campbell is walking off on his own power, and he has not been booed one time this afternoon. Moriarty in for the touchdown. Florian Kemp attempting the extra point. And it is good. So Larry Moriarty bulls his way in for the score. Florian Kemp kicks the extra point. And with 1 minute and 1 second left in the third period, the Houston Oilers have responded. They lead the Detroit Lions by 7, 24-17.
You know, the secret to a comfortable retirement is really no secret. You need a smart investment firm to help you get there.
And the best way to find that investment firm is to ask a lot of questions.
Katie and I asked.
And the more we asked, the more good things we heard about one company, Dean Witter.
We heard about the quality of their financial advice and programs.
We heard they really listen, really care.
For us, Dean Witter was worth asking about.
Dean Witter, worth asking about.
So thanks to a roughing the passer penalty on Bill Gay, number 79 for the Detroit Lions, the Houston Oilers go the length of the field. Larry Moriarty scores, and it's 24-17 in favor of Houston over Detroit. And of course, we all know that if the Detroit Lions can win this ball game this afternoon, they could be in a tie for first place in the NFC Central Division. However, that game depends on what happens up north with Minnesota and Green Bay.
But Jim, I have one for you. Imagine now, okay, they're leading 24-17. If Detroit should come back, it should go into overtime. Remember, the Oilers haven't had much success. They set an NFL record for losing 3 overtimes in one season. Not a distinction you really want.
That's right. Kemp with the kickoff. Ken Jenkins at the goal line. Jenkins is brought down at about the 20-yard line by Steve Bryant, number 81.
What second effort by Larry Moriarty after that 8-play, 84-yard drive consumed almost 4.5 minutes. Moriarty appeared to be stopped. Second effort, took it into the end zone. The Oilers on top, 24-17, 52 seconds left in the third quarter.
In the last couple of minutes, we've been hearing that old familiar song they used to play here in the Astrodome when they were very successful under Bum Phillips. Love You Blue. First and 10 from the 21-yard line. 52 seconds left in the third period. Danielson in at quarterback for Detroit. Fake to Billy Sims. Throws out of the backfield to Jones. A little bit too high for him and out of bounds. So Gary Danielson faked to Billy Sims up the middle. Tried to hit James Jones coming out of the backfield. Robert Brazil over on the coverage for the Oilers.
And this is some turnaround from last year for the last week for the Houston Oilers, who were embarrassed by Cincinnati, losing by 41 points. Chuck Studley said it was an embarrassment. Of course, the Lions, thinking playoff, and the way the game is going between Green Bay and Minnesota, they could be tied for a 3-way tie, but they're losing at the moment.
Slot to the right. Danielson in at quarterback, and he's back to pass. Looking to his right. And then he's sacked. Good coverage downfield by the Oilers. Jerome Foster, the rookie from Ohio State, in to make the sack on Danielson.
And Danielson had plenty of time to throw. He had good protection, but watch the right side of your screen right there. You see number 78, Jerome Foster. Wisely, though, he didn't have an open receiver. He didn't throw an interception, which would have given him terrible field position.
Loss of 5 yards. An experienced quarterback. That's what he'll do for you. Shotgun now, 3rd and 15 from the 6. Danielson back to pass again. Throws down the middle, intended for Leonard Thompson. It's picked off. Billy Kay comes up with the interception, and a big break for the Houston Oilers.
They try to go to the well once too often. Bill Kay picks it off. Leonard Thompson, everyone knows it. He is the guy when you need long yardage you go to. Watch it again. Danielson sets up. He has time. Feels the pressure, throws it, and just a good reaction on the ball by Kay. Was actually thrown too far in front of Leonard Thompson. He couldn't get to it. Maybe Thompson could have made a better effort to get in front and knock it down, but he didn't. Oilers have great field position.
1st and 10 at the Lion 31-yard line. 8 seconds left in the third period. Oliver Luck, quarterback for the Oilers. Tressel in motion. Handoff, draw play to Campbell. Stiff arms one tackler, but he can't get away from two as Ken Fantetti comes over. Number 33, William Graham, make the tackle for Detroit. And that was the last play here in the third period, here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, where the Houston Oilers are all fired up. They lead the Detroit Lions 24-17.
Wednesday on Whiz Kids, Richie outsmarts a computer crook who's getting away with armed robbery. Whoa. But who gets the last laugh?
This is CBS. Football League is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? And by Miller High Life. Welcome to Miller Time.
And Eric Hipple is warming up for the Lions. 2nd and 9 at the 30-yard line, the beginning of the 4th and final period. And Jim Hill with John Dockery. The Oilers lead it. Luck back to pass. Throws down the near sidelines. It's in up and back. Renfro fighting his way out to about the 12-yard line, and there's a flag. I think this flag's going to be on Jimmy Williams for a late hit.
What a terrific adjustment by Renfro. McNorton was covering him on the inside. He never saw the ball. Renfro came over the top, actually made body contact, held on to the ball, and then the frustration of Detroit came out. Personal foul against the Lions.
Played good for 18 yards, and that's what I was talking about a little while ago, about their defense getting overly aggressive.
This ball is thrown not perfectly. It's the adjustment that makes the difference. See Renfro come over McNorton, and then watch this late hit in a moment right here. They're trying to drag him down. Bang, right there.
Foul, number 59 on the defense for a late hit. First down and goal.
That foul on Jimmy Williams. So now it's 1st and 6 from the 6-yard line for the Houston Oilers. They already lead 24-17 over the Detroit Lions. Oliver Luck getting his first start from West Virginia in the NFL. Earl Campbell is a lone setback. Here's Campbell, starts on the inside, goes outside, comes back to the inside, and it takes a host of Detroit Lions to bring him down, led by Ken Fantetti and Alvin Hall.
You see how strong Earl Campbell is. He did that little dart step and then just met the tackler head up. Whew.
He did.
Incredibly strong.
Really did, because Fantetti came over to tackle him, and Earl stood him up.
And look at the statistics. Earl Campbell has carried the ball 19 times for 89 yards, coming close to that 100-yard mark.
Luck 16 of 21 for 174 yards. There's Chuck Studley, the interim head coach of the Oilers, who made his name as a defensive coach for the 49ers.
Told us that Bill Walsh was the man who taught him the motivation that you need to be a good head coach in the NFL. His job is on the line. He needs some wins.
2nd and 5 from the 5. Dressel in motion. Fake to Campbell. Under pressure. Throws. Short and incomplete.
You know what impresses me about Oliver Luck today? He's kept his cool, his poise. We know he's a very smart quarterback, but here he is in the pressure cooker. And it was interesting what he told us. Jim, remember he talked about, well, maybe sometimes you're better off being innocent and naive and not knowing all the things that can happen to you as an NFL quarterback. Ignorance is bliss.
That's right. He said he doesn't have as much fear as maybe an older player, so that way you can go in and just play all out.
And a pretty good afternoon. 158 yards, 15 of 20 completions, only 1 interception, 2 touchdowns. There's a wasted timeout. Obviously, something he didn't like, so Houston wastes a timeout.
Well, that's really, I think, the smart thing for a young quarterback to do. He is not used to being in this kind of situation. Although he's played very well this afternoon, comes up, you see something you don't like, it's best to call timeout this close in, I would think.
Exactly. When a team is 0-10, you see 2 men on the sidelines there. You see the head coach, Chuck Studley, just behind Oliver Luck. And those 2 men are bound together because both their jobs are on the line. If Studley doesn't do something, he told us, how can the Houston Oilers market a losing situation and a losing coach? So he knows his job's on the line. Chicago and Philadelphia tied in 4th quarter, 14 all.
Other scores: Green Bay 22, Minnesota 7. There's St. Louis over Seattle by 7 points in the 3rd period.
And just to pick up on what I was saying about Oliver Luck, he knows this is his opportunity. If he doesn't do it, the Houston Oilers will be looking for a quarterback in the draft. Or maybe they'll bring down Warren Moon from Canada. But they'll need a quarterback if Luck can't do it. And there's a lot of question whether he will be the quarterback of the future here in Houston. Certainly today, he's doing a lot for his cause.
Well, his name has been very fortunate for him so far.
Haha, yes, Luck.
That's it. 24-17, the Oilers over the Detroit Lions. 3rd and 5 from the 5-yard line, the opening moment of the 4th period. Earl Campbell, the lone setback for the Oilers. Luck back to pass. Throws towards the end zone, and it is complete. Complete to Timmy Smith. Smith, number 83, makes the reception about the 5-yard line. Tackled by William Graham.
It doesn't mean much. William Graham made a good play and got there right away, so it really doesn't mean much. It'll be 4th down. The field goal team will come out, and the Oilers will see if they can go up by 10 points. Important, though, for Detroit there to keep them out of the end zone, if only psychological.
And important for Detroit to get, like you said, to hold them. Important for Houston to get something on the board because they haven't been in this position much this year. Florian Kemp in to attempt a field goal for Houston. It'll be an attempt of it'll be about the 11.5, 22.5, 21.5 yards. And it is good. Florian Kemp successful on a 21.5-yard field goal. And now the Houston Oilers lead the Detroit Lions 27-17 with 13 minutes and 8 seconds left in the 4th period.
Its beauty isn't merely cosmetic. Cougar, its very shape uses the air to help hug the road. Aircraft-inspired doors help eliminate wind noise. As you drive, a computer adjusts the engine, the 1984 Mercury Cougar. Even from a coldly rational perspective, it's beautiful. Mercury Cougar, a more enlightened approach.
Devlin, biggest game of the year, and you couldn't get tickets.
Welcome to Miller Town.
You didn't. It's all yours and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
The Houston Oilers leading the Detroit Lions 27-17 in the 4th period.
We talked about it earlier. They were playing the role of spoilers. They're also trying not to tie the record. In 1972-73, when Houston lost 18 straight, this Houston team hasn't won in 17 outings, so Houston's trying to avoid that kind of embarrassment.
Florian Kemp ready to kick off. Ken Jenkins and Robbie Martin deep for the Lions. And it comes to Jenkins at about the 3. Jenkins finds a hole and gets his way up to about the 29-yard line, and that's where the Lions will take over 1st and 10. Willie Tellis in on the tackle. Willie's had a very busy afternoon.
And Jim, if you look closely, you'll see Eric Hipple back in the game at quarterback. Gary Danielson obviously not able to move the team. They're looking for that inspiration of Eric Hipple.
And Hipple, you know, we talk about quarterbacks and how tough they are. We get word from the sidelines that he has a pinched nerve, but he knows he has to be in the ball game because he is their #1 quarterback.
This is put-up time. Remember, they have a shot at being tied to the division lead in the NFC Central. We've said it before. That is the motivation.
10 of 17 for 146 yards this afternoon for Hipple. Billy Sims and James Jones in the backfield. A handoff to Sims. Here he comes to the near sideline. Sims tries to run over Steve Brown. Picks up about 7.5, 8 yards.
What an excellent block by Mark Nichols on the crackback to allow Billy Sims to get some extra yardage. I don't think you'll see the Detroit Lions panic. They're a team that has won 4 of their last 5 games. They're in their comfort zone. They can come from behind. I think you'll see them run Billy Sims. They'll throw a smart pass here and there as Danielson and Monty Clark plan the strategy along the sidelines.
Sims, 19 carries, 105 yards.
First 100-yard game of the season for Billy Sims.
And here comes Jones behind Sims. Sims hits a block for him, and Jones gets enough yardage, just enough for the 1st down. Avon Riley in on the tackle for Houston.
We're in the fourth quarter, Jim. We have over 12 minutes left. They trail by 10 points. They're going to get the ball 3 or 4 more times. All they have to do is convert on a couple of those possessions and hold Houston, and they can win this game. And Houston, in a way, is out of their comfort zone. They haven't won 10 in 10 games this season. They lost 7 last year. There are guys on this field for Houston who have never won a pro game.
And you know that there has to be some thought going in the back of their mind. Are we good enough to play? So far this afternoon, they're trying to prove it. Sims fumbles. Ball bouncing around. It looks like Billy got it back. So Billy Sims taking the pitch from Hipple, coming to the near sidelines. Heads up play on his part, scrambling, doing everything he can to get the ball back. Steve Brown over to make sure that Sims didn't get up and start running again.
Taking a look at it again, he dribbles it along the turf. The pitch appears to be okay. Billy just doesn't handle it. Perhaps he was looking upfield. Here, the ball bounces. Jones helps him out. They both cover the ball. Detroit dodges the ball.
2nd and 12 from their own 41-yard line. Sims and Jones in the backfield. Hipple at quarterback for the Lions. Hipple back to pass. Throws to the right, and it's complete to Sims coming out of the backfield. Greg Bingham in on the tackle for the Houston Oilers.
And a smart play. Hipple gets half of it back. It was 2nd and long. Now he's got about a 3rd and 7 situations. You look at Green Bay ahead of Minnesota 22-14. Minnesota creeping back. And boy, they've lost 2 in a row, Minnesota. They've been on the slide. I think they missed Ted Brown an awful lot. He's been hurt. Surprising today that Green Bay's defense has set up a lot of that scoring. They got a safety. They had a couple of turnovers.
The Packers have been on a roller coaster all year. But now it looks like the Oilers are trying to come out of the dumps. Shotgun formation for the Lions. Hipple throws to the far sidelines. Oh, just into and out of the hands of Jeff Chadwick.
Hipple not very happy. Jeff Chadwick, a very sure-handed receiver. Many people are comparing him to Chris Collinsworth. And now let's get to New York. Brent Musburger, are you there for an update? Brent Musburger, are you there with an update?
Here's how the Vikings are creeping back. Watch the effort by Ricky Young. The Packer defense appeared to have him, but the Vikes still trail it by 8. Let's go back to John and Jim Hill.
Thank you very much, Brent. 4th down and 7 at the 46-yard line. Punt formation for the Lions. Michael Black comes up to hit it, and it's partially blocked. The ball was partially blocked by number 50 Hunt. Darrell Hunt partially blocked that punt of Michael Black.
What's interesting, Jim, is that he leans this direction as though he's going to try to kick out of bounds over here. Hunt gets a hand on the ball, but it gets a Detroit roll. The Oilers lead 27-17. They have the ball here in the Astrodome.
Stand by for the test. 10-4.
Safety isn't something that anyone can adequately discuss in 30 seconds. Mercury Topaz recognizes that reality. As impressive as it may be that this Topaz can safely handle this stringent government test, it's just one of many safety standards that Topaz has either met or surpassed. We invite you to discover the total approach in more detail in this free 20-page book, the 1984 Mercury Topaz, a more enlightened approach.
A Christmas gift from Radio Shack.
I kept hinting to my wife that I wanted the Radio Shack TRS-80 Model 100 computer for Christmas. I told her it was simple to use anywhere, and that its built-in programs could help me organize and keep track of appointments and personal files, do word processing, or send important information to my office, even after hours. I told her it was a breakthrough in personal productivity.
He was so subtle.
The portable TRS-80 Model 100, $7.99, only at Radio Shack.
NCAA basketball returns to CBS Sports as Larry Brown makes his Kansas coaching debut against last year's runner-up Houston in 2 weeks on CBS Sports.
With 10 minutes and 33 seconds left in the final period, I'm Jim Hill with John Dockery. The Oilers lead the Lions 27-17. 1st and 10 at their own 25. Oliver Luck hands off to Earl Campbell. Campbell heads to the right side of his offensive line, picking up a couple of yards. Mike Fanning in for the Detroit Lions is in on the tackle.
You know, if you're smart, you run away from the big guys. Number 79, Gay, Okay, Doug English, number 78, and that's exactly what they're doing. Earl Campbell is running the other way because that's where Harvey Salem, number 73, the big rookie from Cal Berkeley, 6'6", 264, is working against Curtis Green, who's only 250.
2nd and 7 from the 28. Slot formation to the near side. Luck hands off to Campbell, again going to the right side. This time picking up about 1.5 yards.
That's the strategy. One of the problems and one of the things Detroit was worrying about is number 62 in blue, Curtis Green, a third-year man out of Alabama State, not that big against a huge offensive tackle. And of course, Earl Campbell, 240 pounds behind him. So that's what Houston's trying to do. Monty Clark looking at that chart, trying to figure out how his defense can shut down the Oilers. Now get that ball back, get in this game.
Campbell, 21 carries for 93 yards this afternoon. 3rd and 5 from the 30. 9 minutes and 20 seconds left in the 4th period. Luck back to pass. Rolling to his left. Looks downfield. He can run. Picks up enough yardage for the first down before he's tackled there by Bruce McNorton. Also, Mike Munchak had a great block there for the Houston Oilers on offense.
This is the reason Oliver Luck is the quarterback of the Houston Oilers. He's got good mobility. His offensive line washes the defense down totally. He has wide open green space. Okay, he's being led by Mike Munchak, who gets a block. Defensive back makes a great play to come back underneath it. That's McNorton. Oliver Luck picks up the first down.
And Munchak looked back at Luck and said, "Come this way, big fella, follow me." And he did enough for the first. Luck hands off to Campbell. Right up the middle. Goes right through the middle of that line, the defensive line of the Detroit Lions. 8 minutes and 27 seconds left here in the final period.
And this is time-consuming football. You mentioned 8 minutes and 20 seconds left. Detroit must get that ball back. They must shut down the Oilers right here. Yet the Oilers are running the ball. Good strategy. They're picking up first down, and they're consuming that clock.
And once again, the thought comes to my mind what Chuck Studley told us yesterday. He says, hey, we have a good offensive line, and they're proving it now. Slot formation to the top of your screen. Renfro in motion. Goes back the other way. Luck tosses back to Campbell. Here goes Earl. Campbell behind great blocking by that offensive line. Gets up enough yardage over the 45-yard line, and it looks like it's enough for the first down. Tackled there by Gary Cobb and William Graham.
And we have both big running backs in this game now over 100 yards rushing. Earl Campbell just went over it on that carry. He now has carried the ball 23 times for 104 yards. And that's right, the offensive line, it's young. They're hoping to build around it. The draft choices over the last 2 years, you see Chuck Studley along the sidelines, have been offensive linemen. This year was Bruce Matthews, the big rookie out of USC. Last year was Munchak. Salem, the second-round draft choice. They're building an offensive line.
1st and 10 at their own 48. 7-10 left. Dressel in motion. Luck back to pass. Plenty of time. Steps up into the pocket, starts to run. Gets away from a couple of lines and gets down into Detroit territory to about the line, 45-yard line, where he's tackled by Jimmy Williams and William Graham again.
Doug English is in doing battle with Munchak and Carter, the center. Right there, you see him setting up. Number 63, Munchak. They're fighting. They're battling. Luck sets up, runs right by him, shows him mobility, and that's a heartbreaker for a defensive team. You have the receivers covered, you get pressure, and the quarterback scrambles close to a first down.
Studley told us yesterday that Munchak, a second-year man from Penn State, is playing like an all-pro, and he's going against an all-pro. 2nd and 3 from the 45. Luck tosses back to Campbell. Earl runs into a little trouble, and it takes several Detroit Lions to bring him down, led by number 59, Jimmy Williams and Ken Fante.
Earl not rushing himself, taking a little breather on the turf.
You know, so much has been said this week about Earl Campbell, John, and we talked to him yesterday, and he's a very philosophical young man. He knows exactly what's going to happen in his life, and he knows that football is not the end, but it is just the beginning for him.
It's really part of his life, and he realizes that. And Monty Clark must be wondering, where is the consistency in this team? We won 4 out of 5, but last week against the Giants, we had problems. We're having big problems here today against the Oilers.
3rd and 4 from the 46. Dressel in motion. Luck back to pass. Throws to the near sidelines. Complete to Mike Renfro. Renfro tackled by Bruce McNorton. And again, William Graham in on the tackle.
This is just a classic one-on-one. They're blitzing, there's pressure, it's man-on-man defense outside. Good throw to Renfro, the tackle mate. Take a look at it again. This is what they rely on, the rush. It didn't get there this time. English tied up in the middle. Luck gets the ball off for the first down.
An 11-yard completion, 1st and 10 from the Lion 35-yard line. 4:55 left in the game. Oliver Luck at quarterback. Hands off to Campbell, up the middle. Tackle there by Doug English.
There's still some fight left in this Detroit defense. It's a good one, as we said. They have solid linebackers, a good front four, a young secondary. 3 of the guys only in their second year. Alvin Hall, the man who is the oldest in 3 years of service. They took a gamble last time. They blitzed. Luck was able to get to completion. Of course, that puts pressure on the secondary. You're in man-to-man coverage, but they must gamble to get the ball back, Jim. Look at the time left. Only 4 minutes left in this game.
4 minutes and 10 seconds left. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Smith in motion. The toss back to Earl. He goes to the right. Breaks up on the line of scrimmage. Flag is thrown. Inside the 30-yard line of the Detroit Lions is Earl Campbell. Holding against Houston. And that's one of the few times this afternoon that Houston has made a mistake to be penalized on.
Turnovers have not been their problem this afternoon. It's been their problems most of the year. Also, the quarterback hasn't been sacked. As you look at Nielsen and Chuck Studley along the side, big game for Studley.
Offensive holding, number 74.
So Bruce Matthews, first-round draft choice out of USC, was called for holding. 6'4", 269.
Let me just put it in perspective. 4 minutes left. Detroit is down by 10 points. It's all or nothing. They must come and get Luck. Situation like this, you might see a draw, a screen, something safe. But if I were Detroit, boy, I'd send everybody after him, make something happen.
4 minutes left. 2nd and 20 from the 45-yard line for the Houston Oilers. Campbell the lone setback. Dressel in motion, goes back the other way. Luck's back to pass. Looks down the middle. Throws to the far sideline. Intended for Timmy Smith, but back there covering was 53 Gary Cobb, Roosevelt Barnes.
You have to like Oliver Luck, a man with a sense of humor, coming into a situation where the team is deadly. They didn't win a game in 10 games. And I said to Oliver, remember yesterday we talked to him, we said, Oliver, listen, what pass do you throw best? I expected him to say something like, well, the turn in like that one. He said, I don't know, I haven't thrown enough yet.
Well, he's thrown enough this afternoon, and he's done a great job. 3 minutes and 54 seconds left in the final period. We're talking about Luck, 18 of 25 for 187 yards, 1 interception, and 2 big touchdowns. 3rd and 20 from the 45-yard line. Luck back to pass again. Throws deep down the middle. Into and out of the hands of Mike Renfro, and he is hit. Renfro hit by William Graham and Dan Wagner, and that is what we as defensive backs call a hospital ball. When you throw something that high and that deep down the middle, the receiver knows he's going to get whacked.
Exactly. Renfro might have had his shot. The ball is fairly well thrown, a little bit high, but if you ever thought you wanted to be a receiver in the NFL, just take a look at this. Oh. Detroit will get the ball back. Then it'll be up to Hipple and company to move it in a hurry. 3 minutes, 48 seconds left. They'll need a quick touchdown. Then they'll need another score, either a field goal or a touchdown to win.
John James in punt formation for the Oilers. Ken Jenkins back in deep receiving formation for Houston, or rather for Detroit. The snap, and here's the punt. Angling towards the far sidelines and going out of bounds, and let's see where the officials mark it. Marked at about the 20-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 right there for the Detroit Lions. 3:41 left, and we'll be back in just a moment.
You're gonna love it.
This car gets 4 coats of electrostatic paint, and lasers make sure the process runs smooth as silk. You're gonna love the finish.
Based on a survey of owner-reported problems during the first 3 months of use, Ford Motor Company is building the highest quality cars and trucks of any U.S. manufacturer.
You're gonna love the quality Ford. Quality is job one.
I love it.
Shocks are shot. treads are thin, mufflers gone. Well, come on in. There's more for your life at Sears. Where else could you change your tires, take your aim, smooth out your ride, and catch the game? There's more for your life, for the times of your life. There's more for your life at Sears.
The Detroit Lions trail the Houston Oilers by 10 points, 27-17 in the fourth period. 3 minutes and 41 seconds left. I'm Jim Hill along with John Tucker. Eric Hipple in the shotgun formation for Detroit. The Lions must move. Hipple, and he's set. Malcolm Taylor and Jerome Foster giving each other the high five. They go in and drop Eric Hipple.
Take a look at it again. Hipple has some time. Ham is putting pressure on from the outside, but he's driven out. Finally, from the backside, there you see it, the sack. Lions are in deep trouble, deep in their territory.
Hipple now 11 of 19 for 151 yards. 3:22 left. Hipple in a shotgun formation. Flags are thrown. Coming out of the backfield is Billy Sims, and he's tackled at about the 16.5-yard line. Tackled there by Bill Kay. Looked like there was a little bit of confusion on the part of the Detroit Lions. And I was thinking a little while ago, John, it looks like the Lions slowly but surely are coming apart at the seams.
And that's the call. It's against the Lions. It looked like Jesse Baker, the right end for Houston, number 75, might have jumped a little bit. That caused the offense to move, and the penalty goes against Detroit. And when it rains, it pours. Detroit, of course, coming in, Monty Clark, 5-5 on the year, almost a tale of two seasons for Monty. They started at 1-4 for the first part of the year, and then they went 4-1. So this was a pivotal part, a tale of two coaches. One thinking playoffs, Monty Clark. This man...
86 on the offense was offside, and 72 was offside on the defense. We will replay the down. The down will be replayed.
Chuck Studley trying to keep his job. Of course, the down will be replay, offsetting penalties, so it's second down, Jim and Long.
Sure is. 19 yards to go at their own 11-yard line. 3:14 left. Hipple back to pass. Sprints to his right. Has time. Throws back to his left. And it's intercepted by Willie Tellis. Willie Tellis, who's had such a marvelous afternoon today, comes up with the interception. He's been brilliant defensively, and Billy Sims he's just fit to be tied. He can't believe what's going on out there.
Billy Sims, Tellis the happy man. Billy Sims is beside himself. He threw his helmet to the ground. What you didn't see was Billy Sims was fighting with the Houston Oilers player. He's disgusted, a man with so much pride. Look at him on the sideline, coming back to his home in Texas, wanting this game so badly, putting in a great performance, and now frustration. Again, a chance to be tied.
Look at him. And you never know what goes through a mind of an athlete like that, because this kind of frustration could be something, a determining factor that Billy would say, hey, listen, I just may think of leaving. You hate to see something like that happen. You would hate to see Billy Sims leave a team and go someplace else from the Detroit Lions standpoint, but he is a very angry young man.
And so much, you're so right, because individual and collective success would have encouraged Billy Sims to stay in Detroit. I'm not saying he won't stay in Detroit, but his options are a trade, the new league, or staying with Detroit. If they win and have a chance to be a good team in playoffs, Billy be more likely to stay. Right now, he's an angry, unhappy man. Detroit trails by 10.
Hey, what'd I tell you? Bobby Allison's favored.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Welcome to Miller Time. It's all yours, and it's all mine. Bring your thirsty self right here. The rich, smooth taste of Miller beer is what you have in mind. Welcome to Miller Time.
Welcome to the rich, smooth taste of Miller High Life.
30 seconds is too little time to study every aspect of quality in any car. But one car, the Mercury Topaz, invites a more thoughtful look. For example, one measure of a car's quality is just how much space exists in the seams. So we made sure Topaz's seams wouldn't vary from design standards more than 1.5 millimeters. All the information you need to make a more intelligent car buying decision is in this free 20-page book, the 1984 Mercury Topaz, a more enlightened approach.
Not a doubt in my mind that this whole episode wasn't sexually motivated.
Tonight, the mystery begins.
I don't believe anything like that could happen in Delano.
Chiefs.
Frustration on the part of Billy Sims. Total frustration. You saw him knocking the water cups off the sidelines a little while ago. The Detroit Lions slowly but surely starting to come apart at the seams. They trail the Oilers by 10, 27-17. 3 minutes and 5 seconds left here in the final period. Earl Campbell getting the ball from Oliver Luck. Coming to the left side. Getting good blocking by his offensive line. Tackled there by Ken Fantetti.
And it's really a tale of two great backs. Earl Campbell well over 100 yards now, carrying the load for the Houston Oilers. Of course, Oliver Luck played well. Billy Sims did everything in the world he could do this afternoon, carrying the ball for 20 times for 105 yards. He caught passes for another bunch of yards. But boy, he's on the short end. One happy back, one unhappy back. Earl Campbell, 108 yards on 26 carries. Billy Sims, over 100 yards, but it's not doing much good.
And I think one of the reasons why Billy is so upset is, being the great back that he is, he wants the ball more. He knows this is the put up or shut up time. He wants it in his hands. That's what you want from your great people.
And he also said after last week, if the team, the Detroit Lions, won't showcase me, I'll showcase myself. He did everything he could today, but now the Lions, they came in at 5-5. They were hoping for a tie in that Central Division. If it goes the way it's going right now, they're going to leave here at 5-6, and there'll be a couple of games back as we take a look at some other scores around the NFL.
How about that one? The Jets leading Buffalo 17-14 in the fourth period. Tampa Bay trailing Cleveland 20-0 also in the final period. Seattle and St. Louis. It's St. Louis over the Seattle Seahawks 31-28. But here in the Astrodome, it is 27-17. The Oilers leading the Detroit Lions, and the Oilers have the ball in Lion territory. 2nd and 5 from the Lion 32-yard line. Campbell and Moriarty in the backfield for Houston. Luck hands off to Campbell. Campbell going to the right side. Tackled there by Fantetti, who's been all over the place this afternoon for the Detroit Lions.
Detroit quickly calls another timeout, and when you look at this game, I mean, Houston coming in 0-17 over the last year and a half, wanting to get off the snide, wanting to win a game, just to relieve that pain. It looks like they're going to do it today, and Oliver Luck has been the man to carry him there. And when you look at Oliver Luck, he's not an overwhelming specimen as a quarterback, but such a bright quarterback. At West Virginia, he had that 3.9 grade point average. But for a B in calculus as a freshman, he would have 4.0. And that's what he's done this afternoon. He's mixed his plays well. He's used Earl Campbell effectively. And he's stymied Monty Clark and the defense of the Detroit Lions.
2 minutes and 38 seconds left here in the final period.
Of course, next.
And we're told that, John, that the scoreboard clock here is broken. So the time will be kept on the field. Time will be kept on the field. And that really adds to the frustration and the pressure on the Detroit Lions, because the quarterback cannot look up at the clock and see exactly how much time is left. He has to take some of his time now to turn and run to some of the officials and ask them how much time is left.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what the Houston Oilers are going to do. They're going to run the ball. They're going to force Detroit to use their timeouts, run out that clock, and walk away with their first victory in 7 to 18 games.
You know, we were at the Oiler training facility yesterday, and when we walked away, we both wondered, this is the happiest losing locker room we've ever seen. The guys just were laughing and joking, and they had the stereo up. It's hard to read football teams. And here's the result this afternoon.
But in fairness to them, what we said way back early in the show, they lost 3 games in overtime. They played well against the Pittsburgh Steelers, only losing by 7 points. So today they played well, and it looks like they're going to walk away with a victory.
Earl Campbell losing a couple of yards, tackled by Curtis Green and Bruce McNorton. The Houston Oilers 27, the Detroit Lions 17.
Detroit have requested their third team timeout.
A tough day for the Detroit, obviously looking for the playoff, also looking not to be the team that loses to the worst team in the NFL. That looks like it's going to happen. But Jim, they'll still have a chance in that Central Division. I mean, they play Green Bay at Green Bay next week. They play Minnesota 2 weeks after that. They play Tampa Bay to end the season. So they have some games in the Central Division. It's not over for Detroit, but this was a tough blow for them this afternoon to lose a game that they should have won.
Coming up next, the second game of our doubleheader this afternoon here on CBS. Don't forget, featuring the Dallas Cowboys with the best record in the NFL at 9-1, taking on the San Diego Chargers with the NFL's best passing offense. That's coming up next right here on CBS. So the Detroit Lions call timeout, and now the Lions do not have any more timeouts left. We really have to keep that in the back of our minds as they trail by 10 points here in the final period. Other scores this afternoon, it's Kansas City over Cincinnati 20-9 in the fourth period. Remember, Cincinnati embarrassed Houston here last week, scoring some 55 points. And Pittsburgh, the Steelers over the Baltimore Colts in the third period, 17-6.
Pittsburgh continuing to roll. This will make them 9-2 if that score holds up.
John James. Ken Jenkins back deep for Detroit, and the ball goes into the end zone for a touchback. And so the Lions will have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. A punt by James of some 33 yards. Looking up at the scoreboard clock, we mentioned a little while ago that the scoreboard clock was broken. However, now the clock registers 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. We'll check to see if that time is official.
Chuck Studley on the sidelines, looking for that first victory. He's lost 4 in a row since taking over for Eddie Biles. This would be his first NFL victory. The Lions will try to use a situation here so that they get the 2-minute warning as a timeout. They're out of timeouts.
Hippo back to pass. Complete to Billy Sims out of the backfield. Sims gets by one tackler, gets by another tackler. Finally brought down at about the 37-yard line. Tackle there made by J.C. Wilson. So the Lions now in their hurry-up offense. The clock registering 2 minutes right now. 2 minutes registering left in the ball game. Pickup of some 19 yards as Billy Sims is trying to do everything he can. So with 2 minutes left in the ball game, it's the Houston Oilers leading the Detroit Lions 27-17. We'll be back.
MVP, sponsored by Atari Home Video Game.
1981, quarterback Kent Anderson takes a back seat to no one. After being benched in the very first game of the season, Anderson returns to lead the NFL in passing and direct the Bengals to their first Super Bowl appearance. Number 14 storybook season is concluded with his selection as pro football's most valuable player.
If you think ColecoVision plays all Atari cartridges... You mean it can't? Here's Pac-Man on ColecoVision. But here's Pac-Man on the Atari 5200 Super System. Now you're talking. And it doesn't work on ColecoVision. But won't Jungle Hunt? Not with real arcade graphics. Ms. Pac-Man? This Ms. plays only on the Atari 5200 Super System. And now there's an adapter. For 2,600 games? Nearly 300 2,600 games. Super! System, now with a $30 rebate. And Pac-Man from Atari.
Along with John Dockery, I'm Jim Hill. 2 minutes left in the final period. The Detroit Lions trail the Houston Oilers by 10, 27-17. In a game that the Oilers have really wanted for a long time, and now the Lions must come back. Eric Hipple in at quarterback, back to pass. Looks to his left, looks to his right. Screen pass to Billy Sims. Billy has a couple of blockers, and he slips and falls at about the 45-yard line.
And Billy, what a smart ball play. You saw Billy Sims try to cut towards the sidelines to get out of bounds. He knows that time's a factor. He slipped on the turf, didn't get what he wanted accomplished.
1:40 left in the game. Hurry up offense for the Lions. 2nd and 3 from about the 46-yard line. Hipple back to pass, looks to the far sideline, and it's complete to James Jones. And Jones is kept in bounds. The clock still runs. Tackled there by Ted Thompson. 1 minute. Go ahead.
I'm surprised about James Jones. Everything they say about James Jones is that he has the head of a veteran. A veteran running back gets out of bounds then to stop the clock. James Jones did not. 1:12 left in this game.
1 minute and 10 seconds left. 1st and 10 from the Oiler 47-yard line. Hipple back to pass. Looks to the left. Throws. Completes to Jones. Jones comes down and he's knocked out of bounds. Looks like he gets enough yardage for the first down. As the Oilers now are starting to bend just a little bit. Tackle there made by Darrell Meadows.
Remember, there's a minute left. A quick touchdown puts them down by 3 points. An onside kick, a recovery. They move the ball into field goal range. This game is not out of the fire yet for Houston. There could be a tie if Hipple can be that efficient, and a little bit of luck for Detroit.
1st and 10 at the Oiler 36-yard line. As you mentioned, John, you see it on our clock. 1 minute left in our ball game. Eric Hipple back to pass. Looks to his left. High, but complete to Billy Sims coming out of the backfield. Bounces off Bingham. Misses another tackle. It takes 2 or 3 people to finally bring him down, and the Lions now are really in their hurry-up offense. A great individual effort by Billy Sims. The clock registering 42 seconds left now. The Lions trailing by 10, 27-17. Sims goes out. Dexter Bussey comes in. 34 seconds left. Hipple back to pass. Looks to his left. Back to his right. Complete to Jones coming out of the backfield. Jones at about the 20 to the 19 and goes out of bounds.
Situation now, they were in their hurry up. It took them a long time to get that play off. Billy Sims was unable to get out of bounds before that. Jones did get out to stop the clock with 26 seconds. But right now, Hipple cannot do any more of that. He has to go to the end zone, try to score right now, hope for the onside kick, maybe one pass into field goal range, and bingo to tie this game. It's a tall order, but not totally impossible.
26 seconds left in our ball game. 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. The Lions trail by 10. Eric Hipple back to pass. Looks to his right. Throws towards the end zone. Into and out of the hands. Almost intercepted by number 51, Ted Thompson. Pass intended for Mark Nichols. The last time, John, the Houston Oilers had a victory, September 19th, 1982, over Seattle. The executive producer, Terry O'Neill. The senior producer, Charles H. Milton III. Produced today by David Michaels. And directed by Richard Drake. Associate producer, Danny Mann. And the rest of our technical crew who've done just a marvelous job. 2nd and 10, 20 seconds left. Hipple rolling to his left. Throws back into the end zone. Incomplete over the head of Mark Nichols. 15 seconds left on the clock. Don't forget, my friends, coming up right after our game, the second game of our doubleheader today, and it should be another good one. The Dallas Cowboys with the best record in the NFL, with a record of 9-1 in California against the San Diego Chargers.
And maybe the best quarterback in the NFL, Danny White, against the Eagles last week, completed 88% of his passes. He has over 2,500 yards passing, 21 touchdowns. He and Tony Dorsett are a force.
Hipple 17 of 27, 213 yards back to pass. Throws to the far sidelines, and it's intercepted by you-know-who, Willie Tillis. Eric Hipple, a desperation pass, picked off by Willie Tillis. Tillis' second interception of the afternoon. He returns it for 19 yards. And after going to the well for so many times and finding it dry, it looks like Houston will finally strike oil and hit a gusher.
Heartbreak, though, for the Detroit Lions. Fading hopes of a playoff now. But for Houston, you're right. A win finally after 18 tries.
6 seconds left, and let the crowd here in Houston count it down for you. And that's the end of our ball game. Where the final score, the Houston Oilers defeating the Detroit Lions 27-17. And it is over. The losing streak is finally over, thanks to the great efforts of that young man, Oliver Luck, whose name has been very fortunate for him this afternoon. Second-year man out of West Virginia, 6'2", 193. A great sense of humor, as we found out yesterday, and he's going to be all smiles today. You better believe it.
His first NFL start of victory. Chuck Studley, the coach, the interim coach, his first victory. A great day for the Houston fans who have been frustrated for so long. On the other side of the coin, Monty Clark has to be wondering, what kind of a team do I have? One time they're terrific. Next time they lay an egg. We win 4 out of 5. We come here to Houston. Okay, we lose this one 27-17. We'll be back in a moment right after this.
Be sure to watch a fascinating edition of 60 Minutes, the popular television news magazine that features Mike Wallace, Morley Safer, Harry Reasoner, and Ed Bradley this evening on CBS.
We're on the air. Do you have any final stats for Luck?
Okay. Back at the Astrodome, where the Houston Oilers have just defeated the Detroit Lions 27-17, and most of it was done because of the play of a young man, Oliver Luck. Luck had a great game this afternoon, leading the Oilers to their first victory in over 18 games. That's our game for this afternoon. The final score, Houston 27, Detroit 17.